Hey guys, I know I don't normally do an intro like this to Arcane Promise episodes, but I did want to say one thing. During the course of this video, you guys will notice that Rick, the player of Lassiter, does a lot of muted talking to something off camera. It might be a little distracting, but what's really cool is Rick was actually live streaming on his TikTok the whole time. So while they were watching him and conversing with him when the scene wasn't about him, that sort of thing, they could also hear everything that was going on in the stream. So it might look like he's having some kind of weird fit up there in his box on the screen, but what he was addressing the people who were listening to him on TikTok and listening to us play. He kind of invited them to sort of a behind the scenes of when we play Spelljammer. So I just wanted to kind of premise that before we get into the episode, so you aren't completely weirded out by the fact that Rick is talking to no one off camera and taller than him. So without further ado, let's get to the episode. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode, or another session of the Arcane Promise Spelljammer 5e game, run by yours truly, Brian C.P. Steele, and my cast of wonderful, wonderful industry folk. We're going to go ahead and just introduce everybody. Yeah, Ben, that includes you. You are also in that. He's so it's like, who, me? Let's go around the table real quick, and then we'll get to when last we met and start rolling some dice. I mean, not that I'm expecting tonight to be like super dice heavy or anything, not like last session. Today is about mystery and intrigue and lizards. Oh my god, that needs to be the name of the episode. Mystery, intrigue, and lizards.
That sounds good.
Done. It's already been named. Almost as good as worms, but not really. Rick, why don't you start us off?
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Rick. I am the host of Rick Rolls America, a thing where I was supposed to travel across the United States, going to friendly local game stores, but COVID got us all, and now just kind of hanging out, doing my thing, kind of pivoting. If you want to check out some stuff, I'll be running the Ultra Pro content during Gen Con Online, so I'll be doing all their board game content.
Very cool.
In for that in a couple weeks, and September Geek House Live. So check that out.
Oh, I'm going to have to poke you about Geek House Live because I don't think I've heard about this yet.
Nobody has, except for maybe Jake.
Ooh, all right. Chris, I'm going around the weird circle because you guys don't know what the order is.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris O'Neill, and I am a designer at Knives Global Games, and we are running some things at Gen Con as well. We're running Cobalt Day My Baby and the Excellence. We are also at Gen Con Online going to be looking to see if we win some Emmy Awards and the IGDN Groundbreaker. We're very excited. And tonight, I, as always, will be Ixidor of the Electrum Tone, a 100-year-old kobold that is very into dragons.
Clover.
Hello, I am Clover. By day, I am a microbiologist, and by weekend, I am a part-time employee for Armor Class 10. And I will be playing Manon Dorian, and she is a no-nonsense kind of disaffected and very focused sorcerer.
Melts the minds.
She's amazing.
She's a mind taker.
All right, Ben, prove to us that you're part of the industry.
Oh, no. My name is Ben. Some people asked me to be here. I played Dungeons and Dragons one time. I'm also one of the owners of Alpha Omega Hobby, along with Jake, so that's pretty cool. In my spare time, I like long walks on the beach and playing Bugbear Fighters named Grazak. So pretty good segue on that one, I feel like.
Yeah, that was
pretty solid. Ben represents the boots on the ground. Recently he did a unboxing of a 40K video of the 40K new box
I did
and
that.
your guys' unboxing. Jake, I know you did a lot of talking, but Ben was the star of the show.
He did. He did all the heavy lifting.
What do you want to do?
All right, let's wrap this up with Jake.
Hey, so I'm Jake. I'm one of the owners at Alpha Mega Hobby, and I'm also the CEO at Armor Class 10. We make cool, nerdy T-shirts like this one for the guys at Dust. Rick's wearing one. Brian's got some ones that we did for Dave Taylor. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. The Indominus box has made some waves, and we're excited to see how that's going to go. For this particular shindig, I will be playing. Yeah, there you go. Ben knows what's up. For this particular shindig, I will be playing a giant walking robot who is generally confused about the issues of the meatverse.
It's very introspective.
The meat first.
So, did you say the meatverse?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So when last we met, after a couple of sessions of chasing rumors and gossip around the parts of a small planetoid called Halastoop to try and find their sixth chosen crewmate that was promised to them from the Arcane that brought them all together. They finally got their hands and other parts on him, I guess.
It was a weird episode.
It was a weird episode, but they managed to get this individual, a Loxodon, hailing from the Wheel, which is where Ravnica and Theros and all that is at in the Spelljammer greater cartography. And something was brought to light where perhaps one of the people who sent them on this little deep dive into dragon and lizard cultist territory might not be quite as upstanding as they thought. And perhaps maybe he isn't the crewman that they believed. And that was the blue dracon, Hastrix Ridgeback, the drunkard, who was a master of maps and they believed was the cartographer, that is now potentially not who they actually need, and instead they might need Pontalius Cornelia the Fourth, a Loxodon noble bard who has won their hearts, really. I mean, if you watch the last episode, last 20 minutes is nothing but them saying how lovely he is. What an amazing member of the crew. I'm being facetious. They don't like him very much, and that's probably going to show very quickly. So we'll start this off with
Not even a dragon.
you guys were getting back to the surface to eventually to probably get some rest, but also to can kind of confront Hastrix and find out why the lies, what's going on.
Are we thinking that we are going to go confront him and then sleep in his place?
I don't believe that was discussed.
I don't think it was.
That was an open question for the team.
I also don't know if we were going to do it in that order.
Right.
I'm assuming that Ben is just going to have him run his pickle business, and we need to have a meeting with a possible supervisor candidate.
Look, the gang's got arrangements made for us already. I can feel it before we get up there.
Oh, good.
The gang
was the bar also an inn, or was it just a bar?
They didn't mention whether or not they had rooms to rent, but it never came up. You guys,
was it an inn or a tavern?
Where you were at was actually a tavern, but it looked like an awful big building to just be a tavern.
Okay.
They probably have a nightclub too.
They probably have rooms.
We also had very large clientele, so
they have rooms upstairs for people doing cam work.
In conference rooms,
There you go. Yeah. All right. So, and we've lost Chris.
He's right there. I see him.
I found him.
No, there he is.
He's the handsome guy in the Frazetta t-shirt.
Pontalius.
From the Frazetta Museum.
Ooh.
I'll have my revenge. And Death Stalker, too.
Pontalius is very much... he's very eager to get to the surface. If you know the way, he seems very disoriented. He doesn't remember coming down this way. He doesn't remember how he got here. You had already alluded to the fact that you had snapped him out of it, so he knows that someone had been muddling his mind, and he'll mention probably more times than comfortable is, none of this looks familiar to me. Do you know where you're even going?
We do.
No. Oh, please and thank you.
So we do, but also we swam underwater for a while to get here.
I don't think we have water breathing apparatus.
What a dreadful thing.
So how long did that last?
Well, the water breathing potion lasted for an hour after you took it. And then there was a lot of resting and sitting and talking and some bopping of heads and things. So yes, leaving this time will probably be a little more difficult of a swim.
What are you talking about?
For people who have lungs, Pontalius is going to take a look at his spells real quick, because he thinks when you said something about, there being a swim, that, I believe I may have something to help with that. Oh,
I do.
Oh, bother.
It's something high tech.
I'm incorrect. Maybe on some other day I might be able to talk the water out of our way, but right now, looks like I'm getting out my goggles.
How far was the swim underwater?
Well, you would actually know because you walked it. It's only about 30, 40 feet. But for someone who's not a good swimmer, it could be real bad.
And there was like craggy parts.
Yes, there's definitely some jagged, some places where you could bump your head and stab yourself and whatnot.
And I think we cast like a light on a stone. Someone did, and we threw it under there too, so we could at least see under the water.
Well, and honestly, Typhon could if he walked in front of everybody, he could carry the rock and be basically your little anglerfish.
Well, so I'm thinking what I should do is I should take the stone and I'll carry it to the far side and place it where you can see it. And then I'll walk to the midpoint and I can extend my sword, which is lit. It has a light spell on it. So I can extend that and just wait. And you guys can swim to me, and that's the halfway point, and then swim to the other light.
Well, we could pull ourselves. If we had a rope, we could actually pull and tied it to you. You walk underneath, drop the stone.
Oh yeah, you can just pull yourself across. We can do that.
Okay.
That would be good. I would give everybody advantage to their athletics test for the swim. If they,
I like that. And
I have Brian, I technically have my character's he's like a big barrel-chested robot, so my chest is empty. I could be a one kobold submersible technically.
I was just about to say I would rather not make this athletics roll. So if you could,
does Ixodor fit inside of Typhon?
No. You have lots of inner parts and workings that if you tried to shove him in there, you're more likely, and then started moving around, you're more likely to make kobold salsa than have him survive like you're a submarine.
Does anyone have a bag of holding?
Also, you said.
yes, we do.
Okay.
Wait, oh, we do.
I could put Ixodor. Ixodor is small. I could put Ixodor in the bag of holding. Well, so it says in the book that you can survive for up to 6 hours. You put animals in there, so I can put Ixodor in there, walk through, and then immediately take him out. So he's literally in there for like 2 minutes. So I could put the bag inside my chest because it holds gear. All my loose gear is in that compartment.
Is this a real conversation that's happening, or is this us talking about this metagame?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
This is a real conversation.
Handle this.
Right now, conversation. I just expect to be carried.
Right now, Pontalius is taking off all of his livery and down to like his blue striped boxers and putting on a pair of swim goggles and packing everything lovingly into his backpack.
So I'm tying a rope around.
Yeah, I'll take the rope through.
Yeah, I'm tying it around you.
I would say tie it to something else, and then what I can do is, or you know what you can do?
Tie it around you.
I can walk through, and then I can just pull all of you through.
I mean,
Yeah.
But then we would need extra rope because it would have to go back.
No, we could all hold on to the
No,
rope.
it wouldn't. I'll go all the way through with Ixidor, and then all of you hold on to the rope, and I'll just pull it through.
As a side note, Ixidor, being a student of, you know what? Actually, this would be something that Manon would definitely know. You guys played a lot with extra-dimensional space in Eberron. Breathing creatures inside of a bag of holding can survive up to a number of minutes equal to 10 divided by the number of creatures inside the bag. So 10 minutes, in theory, if the bag was big enough to hold Ixidor, he could survive in there for 10 minutes. Now, you also are very aware that being in an extra-dimensional space will toy with your brain.
Wait, has Ixidor actively voiced that he's not capable of making this swim?
Yes.
Oh, that's easy. I'm the best swimmer here. I'll just take you along. I'll pick up the bag.
I'm also okay with that.
Yeah. I have dark vision and good athletics, so I'm not concerned.
Pontalius gets out a leather strap and straps his ears down, like Rambo style, so they're flat to the side of his head. He's got a pair of welding goggles. His ears are flat to his head, and he's wearing blue striped boxers. And he's got a backpack over his shoulder, and he's like, "Yes, let's go for a dip."
How deep is the water? How far is the pool?
You don't remember?
No, it's 30 or 40 feet, but the actual dive
I think it was fully submerged.
Yeah, it's
so Brian, I'll head through with the rope, so at least they can get the advantage. So I'll head through with the rope.
Yeah, because I am not confident that I can make this swim.
Oh no! You stay with me. Loxodons are born swimmers.
She's like, "Watch that trunk."
Loxodons are born everything, aren't they?
Well, they are born with trunks.
We are.
Come on, they're born with trunks.
We are thankfully a humble species.
Yeah, you're pretty Loxodon too.
I don't know if he knows what that means.
Loxodon.
I like this one. I'm always up for a good ribbing. Please, I can't laugh while swimming. Yes, shall we?
Yeah. Well.
As soon as Typhon goes under,
yeah.
As soon as Typhon's fully underwater and the rope is disappearing with him, Pontalius looks at everyone and goes, "Can it be trusted? Will it not rebel and try and destroy us all?"
I'm told a movie about a time traveler once.
So be it.
Typhon is absolutely trustworthy.
Grazak will smack him across the snout and say, "He has a name, dum-dum. His name's Typhon. You go after him right now. I'll push him."
All right. Jeez. Appears, and I will make. He actually is not going to use the rope. He believes in his swimming ability, and does just fine.
And dies.
and dies. Over. Sorry about the spell jammer. Sorry about Destiny. The rest of this game is everything falling apart, and the world is bad.
Oh, great.
Well, that makes one of us.
All right, so everybody else who uses the rope has advantage on an athletics roll.
I'm going to hit a nice city pool dive going in there.
That might give you a leg up while swimming. Let me know, and I can possibly give you a bonus.
14 for Lassiter.
Not even an issue.
All right.
18.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep, 18.
Yeah, yeah. The rope trick does fine. You guys basically pull yourself along. It's like an old scuba trick. You know, pull yourself through. The couple of times where there's some stalagmites that are kind of reaching down, you guys avoid them easily because the light's on the other end of the tunnel, so you can see them very clearly. And it's not like you're being pushed through or anything like that. You're going as slow as possible, kind of thing. But yeah, you easy peasy. You come out the other side, and everyone's wet, obviously. And Pontalius immediately starts to get dressed, occasionally casting minor cantrips on his clothing to dry them out.
Okay.
My flask is dreadfully empty.
What cantrip is that he's using? I don't know if I have that.
Should be prestidigitation.
Oh, I didn't take it.
Prestidigitation is
Look at man and knowing what's going on.
Arguably the best spell in D&D because you can do anything with it.
You can do a lot with that spell. There are some low end limits. Not to basically poke about something that's coming out in the future, but prestidigitation is going to be a big deal for the College of Fascinations bard that I am creating for a PDF product.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Also known to some people, especially in the TikTok crowd, as #GlitterBard.
Ooh.
So it's going to be a real thing. I've actually ordered art for it. It's happening. Started off as a late night joke on a live and became very, very real. And I was like, you know what? This is going to sell and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it became ridiculous.
It became ridiculous,
Hey,
and now it's got its own Discord channel.
That sounds like the only type of bard I'd ever play.
So if the College of Fascinations existed when I made Pontalius, he would totally be a fascinator. There's no question. All right, so yeah, so he casts prestige, and honestly, Manon, like if you start, kind of like trying to shake off and like wring out your sleeves, he'll very much be like, well, you can't look my saviors can't look like you must look the part of a savior. Fluff. And so he's flinging prestidigitations around left and right, making everyone look and oddly smell good. Like he throws in like a pinch of perfume on his prestidigitation.
I cast Downey. You get some.
Please. And he's like, so, what's next? Friends and colleagues?
So I'll hand
And Typhon?
whoever needs the stone to see, I'll hand it to them. And then I'll start walking back the way that we came.
So we are going to go back to the tavern. Is that what we all agreed on?
My thought is if we don't immediately go to the Ridgeback's place, he's going to know that we have Pontalius.
Yeah, the next plan is go beat up all the lizards.
Yeah, but I was assuming that he'd be at the tavern anyways, since remember that when we were there, they talked about how it was the first time he hasn't been thrown out because he left with us.
True. He is a raging alcoholic.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see what time it is. Like, how long has it been since we were surface side?
It's kind of hard to tell, especially for someone who's on a 24-hour clock. You gauge you gauge everything by what you can see and feel, and you've been underground for at least half a day. Okay. You won't know until you get topside.
All right, so I'll head topside. Once we get to the surface, we can figure out where we want to go.
There is a light purple of sunrise on the horizon. On that horizon, taking a look at your perception scores, because I remember to write them down this time, Typhon and Grazik, you actually can see the outline of a ship.
Oh,
on the horizon.
What sort of ship?
Initially it looks like just like you see it and you go, oh, big bug, and then you realize, oh wait, no, it's not a big bug. It's not a large bug that's close to me. It's a ship far away.
Is it a man war?
Like an insect. What's up?
Is it a man war?
No. It is. It's actually a very small ship. It looks almost like a mosquito or maybe a wasp.
Does it look like it's coming our way, or is it just like anchored?
It looks landed, and it looks kind of landed badly. Like it doesn't look like it made that landing.
So would you say crash?
One might say it was an uncontrolled chaotic landing. No one says crash in this industry.
Let's go. You want to go check it out? It could be a ship we could liberate.
Loin.
Pontalius is about well. That is an awful long distance to walk. Dog.
Well, if it's a relatively small ship and we can see it, it can't be that far away.
He starts rifling through his pouch. He's like, I believe I have enough to purchase us transit. As soon as I have a chance to please fill my belly and parch this parched mouth of mine is it's ridiculous.
So we're going to the tavern.
I don't think those dragon worshipping weirdos fed me.
No, I don't think they did either.
How dare they treat a hostage this way?
It's how you always treat hostages. You haven't done this much, have you?
Dummy.
What he said.
He's joking, right?
I'll eat a handful of grubs out of my pouch.
Don't you have any pickles?
Yeah, give him a pickle.
You're the pickle baron. You should have pickles.
You can have a pickle.
I will.
I think he's out of pickles, guys. He only grabbed like one for the road.
One very wet, nasty, moldy pickle. Here you go.
I will take off my hat and offer him a
rat.
A large, delicious looking rat.
So, I don't believe that would be very palatable. Loxodons are not. We are not known for our strong stomachs.
You just go legs first. It works every time. I'll show you.
What to say? Stand at the grass.
Gross.
I will offer Ixidor the rest of his rat. Yeah.
He takes a step closer to Manon and Lassiter. Shall we go wherever you feel like going? That's quite fine.
I feel like we're gonna head towards the Blue Ridgeback abode, right? Is that the plan? Yeah. If he's not there, then we go to the tavern, because it was like, I think it
was most likely straight to the tavern because he didn't spend much time at his house.
Yeah, but if it's dawn at this point, I would assume he's probably been thrown out and has since gone back to his house.
That's a good point. Yeah. So do we want to bust in on a drunk and passed out dracon?
If it's day, we're going to his flat. If it's later in the day, we're going to go to the.
It'll be mid-morning because you can see where the rest of the city is. I mean, when you came up, you were still in the cratered part of the old city. It's not far from where the rest of the people live and the university is and that sort of thing.
Just from a time standpoint, how long would it take us to get to his house versus how long would it take for us to get to the crashed ship?
The crashed ship is a little harder to gauge how far away it is because it's just kind of sitting on the horizon. But you guarantee that you could be close, unless traffic, like foot traffic, becomes weird or you get stymied up in the city. Getting to his house would be dramatically closer than the ship itself.
Okay. I will begin leading us to the house then.
Okay. All right. So getting there is not a problem. You have almost an unerring sense of direction when it comes to the inside of because the town itself is basically university, and then all the people who work at the university and sell stuff in the morning or in the streets, which now people are starting to set up their booths, their little lean-tos. The market bazaars are starting to open up. It's still very early, but there is a lot of steaming hot beverages that like one of those. They brought the tea kettles and stuff straight from their house to the thing, and for the next hour or so, we'll that stuff's still going to be warm for a while. It is a good time for breakfast foods, and Pontalius is shelling out the money, and he has no issue if like walking up to someone and be like, "I'll take 2 of the. Do you want anything? Any of you? Yes. What? Longstrider, Lors fella. What's your name, sir?
Lassiter.
Lassiter. Human names. Can I interest you in a warm cider?
Actually, yes. I would love a warm cider.
I believe the crab apples are local.
Wait a minute.
With just a pinch of shrimp salt.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that sounds disgusting. I can't believe I'm going to say yes to this. Yeah, he is throwing around money like it's going out of style. And one of the things that you guys pick up on is that he does not like to stick around. Like, basically, he wants to keep moving. Let's keep going. I've got my thing. I've bought my stuff. I've filled my face. I've bought an egg sandwich for my friend. Let's keep going to the tavern or to wherever we're headed, but let's not stick around here.
Well, I'm guessing if you stick around here, the word of your being back in the round is going to get spread pretty quick.
I think that is the least of our worries. The constabulary here do not take well to my kind. Begets the lot of them.
I wonder why that would be.
I believe it's because I'm larger than anyone on the force.
Dang.
Huh?
My friend Grezik here, he understands.
At that point, I'll take the food out of his hand. No one asked for your opinion, dum-dum.
I don't take kindly to your references to my intelligence.
Go back to eating food and telling people that Loxodon, he'll pay for it. Sorry.
Is this? It looks at Manon. Is this normal?
I think it's a term of endearment.
I think he's, and I'll whisper in. I think he's just trying to show dominance. It's like he's puffing his chest out. Yeah, it's really cute.
Well, I have been married once, but that was a long time ago. She's very far away.
Easy, Jesus. Not that kind of bugbear. I think I'm easy. Have me a couple ciders. Think again.
Ixidor, since you're not actually walking, you're doing your backpack Yoda thing. Go ahead and give me a perception roll, because you get kind of a weird, almost bird's eye view of things that are happening in the marketplace all around you guys.
Perception. Ooh, I rolled an 8.
Is that an unmodified 8, or is that the end?
Oh, that's with +2.
Oh, fantastic. You see a lot of the back of Grazik's head.
Apparently, I'm asleep.
It's been a long night, you got to see real draconians and weird things happen to them. It's been an evening of adventure.
I turned them to stone and melted them with poison.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Grazik discovered all kinds of super cool new things that he could do that he never
see.
I mean, he always assumed he could do them before.
Yeah, for those who are watching, if this is your first episode, the last episode during the combat, Grazik revealed some magic powers that he didn't know he had, and you absolutely should go back and watch that episode because it is gold.
So many magic powers.
So many magic powers coming out of the bugbear fighter.
Yeah.
I
What else I do?
I love the idea of the mundane bugbear fighter being like, I'm a wizard.
I'm obviously a wizard.
You're a wizard, Grazek.
So there is Typhon, your base perception is enough to pick this up. After a little while, you're headed towards the now you said you're going to Hastrix's house, or no, you're going to the tavern.
No, Hastrix's house.
Yeah.
All right, so you're heading towards Hastrix's house, and it's a few blocks back at the early part of the bazaar, and there are some raised voices. Some people are starting to, it's almost like there's an argument starting in the street between, perhaps between a couple of the different vendors, or a vendor and a early morning buyer or something.
I think we should just, let's just keep going, keep moving along, so that
We shouldn't get caught up in anything like that. That would no.
I'm gonna go see what's going on.
No. We need you, Grazik. We need you.
I agree. We need guys. I was gonna kind of stay behind and pace behind the party and kind of listen in on what it is. If it's important, then I'll stop them.
Can we see the commotion?
It doesn't look like it's a full-on commotion. It's just a couple of people basically, they're arguing and showing each other things.
Oh, that's worthless.
You can tell that they're holding stuff out to each other and having some harsh language, and that's about it. There's not like blows being thrown or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
So this sounds like a great opportunity for someone to kind of stumble into their conversation.
Oh, so Lassiter lags back and goes to stumble into the argument.
Stumble as in maybe I've been drinking and I'm trying to find my way home. And I will use, that wonderful sleight of hand.
Okay.
And as I'm walking up, and if it appears to be something of interest, maybe I will, bump into him, knock some stuff down, and grab what looks interesting.
As you approach, you start to actually hear what the argument is about. It is two neighboring sellers that are, one is basically yelling at the other and saying that today was your turn to make change, and you've given me this this is worthless. And he's basically handing him showing him a fistful of honestly what looks like almost like nuts and bolts and washers. And he's like, this is ridiculous. I gave you gold. You were to give me silver, and you gave me this. And the other guy's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I gave you silver. It's not my fault that you've lost it. I did my job. Today was my coffersman days. I ask anyone else. I gave them their change. Today I was in charge, and everybody, you're the only one that's had a problem.
Huh. So he supposedly gave him silver, but in his hands he's holding nuts and bolts.
More like it's like washers and wing nuts and stuff. Things that are roughly coin. They look like coin.
It could be illusioned,
but it's basically junk.
Interesting. Can I do an Arcana as I kind of walk up to see if there's any?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm going to be. Hold on. Awesome. I rolled a 5 + 4 for 9.
You guys are swinging hard today. Yeah.
Well, I'm also kind of stumble drunky.
Yes, I mean you're focusing so much on acting the fool. You're like, you know what, your mind is not in it at the moment. It just seems like a very weird instance to as someone who is skilled with sleight of hand it would be pretty difficult to, without having some kind of magical oomph, it would be pretty difficult to try and fool somebody to hand them junk and make it think that that it was coins.
All right. I still want to bump into him, see if anything changes.
Okay. Go ahead and make that sleight check.
Okay. All right. So sleight of hand. Big money, no whammies. All right. 21. 16 plus 5.
He takes a step. Someone did the press your luck thing just there. Who was that?
It was me.
Okay. Yeah. When you stumble in, he takes a step back. It was surprising that you kind of emerged from the morning traffic, but he doesn't like stop you from falling. It is one of those I'll step back, but then hey, let me try and corral you into don't fall into my wares, please. Just here have a nice little soft spot on the floor over here.
And then I'll do a whole Stewie, look what I can do. No.
But you managed to get your a couple of pieces, like small pieces of fruit, because this particular seller, it's a food seller. You get a couple of pieces of fruit and a little rolled up like a morning tea bag that hasn't been used. Can't really get any money off of him because
if I would have been, having been more clear, I would have tried whatever was in his hands. I would have wanted to knock that out.
Oh well, that can easily be part of the nuts and bolts go flying everywhere.
Right. So when they land, they are absolutely nuts and bolts.
I'm gonna say washers because that's gonna be they're more like washers or like hammered pieces of thin metal.
Tin.
Yeah.
Okay. And as I'm holding an apple in my hand, I'll be like, "What the?" Almost surprised I have an apple. Like, what's with the tools and the junk? What is that?
He's like, "Oh, sir, please." He helps you up, and he's like, "It's not a matter to concern you. Have you lost your way?"
That's when I become very serious, and I look him in his eyes, sober as a stone. And I say, I think you and I are going to have a little bit of an issue if you're trying to rob these individuals.
Give me an insight check.
All right, I will do that. But I'm like this close to him.
Yeah.
Insight. Ooh, I have a great bonus on that. 15 natural, no bonus.
Your change in demeanor and the suddenly up in his face legitimately startled him. He was not expecting you to suddenly be sober McSoberface. But also by the pale, like his eyes dilated fully, the color left his face. He is legitimately afraid by what you said, and he goes, I'm the one that's being he's like looking at these, like, I'm the one that was robbed.
Where did you get these?
I don't know. These are he like basically points at his box, his money box, and he's like, they should have been silvers.
I'm going to push him to the side. And I'm saying, show me your money box. Show me,
sir. You are no constable here.
He's right. I'm no constable. How dare he call me out? I just don't like seeing people who get robbed.
Neither do I. And if you hear anything about it, please push your threat towards them, but not me. I'm the one who was wronged.
The other gentleman that
who is now like backing off towards his booth.
Was he the one? So the one that had the coin was arguing with the one that gave it to him.
Yeah. Well, that's what he believes. Yes.
Right. So I'm talking to the one that gave him the coins, or believed to be giving him the coins. Right.
Not if you were knocking the washers out of the guy who gave him the coins is not the guy who was holding the washers.
Right. The reason I knocked them out is to see if it would clear any potential illusion.
Oh, okay.
Are
Gotcha.
indeed washers that have landed, or if the other guy that was holding them maybe he's doing something to say, hey, you didn't pay me proper.
No, at this point, he's just going back over to his booth because he doesn't want to be part of whatever you and this other guy are doing. This weird man dance that's happening on the other side of the street.
What? Okay. All right. So,
but he's watching. You know, he didn't just like turn his back on you and be like, well, whatever. You know, he's watching from like what is going on over there?
But he got all right. I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. The individual I knocked the washers out of the hands, I didn't knock him out of his hands to think he was the cheat. I knocked him out because I felt like he, was being cheated, and he seen through an illusion, and then the one that gave him the washers either may have put an illusion on it, or
so you shifted your focus from the guy carrying the washers to the person who supposedly gave it to him.
Gave it to him. Correct.
That's who you got all grumpy with.
Yes, correct.
Okay, that's my mistake. I thought you were getting grumpy with the guy who had the
Not at all.
washers. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that guy will absolutely stand his ground. It's not going to change the fact that I didn't roll a very high save against your grumpiness.
Right.
So he'll still pale and be like, sir, I don't know what you're doing here, but you have no say in this, and I didn't steal anything from anyone.
Rick, you should just kill them both. That way you get arrested twice.
You're really tempting me there, guy.
It's like
Ivan's always trying to get me killed.
It's like I didn't. I'm not sure what happened. I know that I'm going to keep an eye on my things today, because obviously there's strangeness afoot. And at about that time, two booths down, a little further down the block, another guy kind of sticks his head out and goes, like holds it. He's like, "Who did this? Who did this?" And he looks like he's holding little bits of metal in his hands. And the coffersman, the guy who you're talking to currently, goes, like, gestures down the way and goes, that's not my client.
Were these the same booths we were at?
The spice booth and all that.
Yeah, how is the pickle booth? Is the pickle booth untouched?
The pickle booth's not open yet.
All right, good.
Big brain moves.
This is actually a good question from Grasek. Are these the same booths that we bought from earlier this morning?
You have been to these booths. It's not the only booths you've been to, but it's definitely a couple of them.
Can we make out this whole argument from a distance?
I don't know. Lassiter's being kind of up close and creepy, but you can tell from body. Okay, up close and threatening. But you can definitely tell from his body language that he's kind of accusing the first guy. But now things may, like, the body language may have shifted because something weird has happened. Definitely.
Yeah. As soon as he says that's not my client, I go, I don't like you.
and he was like,
I don't like you either.
Of you either, sir. But please, if there's anything that I can sell you,
I have the death sentence on 10.
I don't like you either.
Is he the one that had the fruit stand, right?
We'll say this guy. He sells like scarves and like loose like clothing accoutrement, not like actual clothes, but stuff you would.
All right. So in a flourish, as I said, I don't like you, and I got my eyes on you. Oddly, I'm guessing I probably flipped my scarf that I just happened to have taken and like, this is not how this was supposed to go. I just walk back to my companion.
He snaps this coffer's box closed like a clacker on a movie set. Just very much end of conversation, and goes back to trying to figure out what's going on. Back with the rest of the group, Pontalius has not stopped moving forward, and has tried to figure out where we're going, because I've never been this ridge back. I've never been to this home. Friends or not, I unless maybe while I was a hostage. Perhaps. Do you think they made us be friends?
I don't think anybody wants to be your friend, so no, probably not.
It's possible. That is possible, and not a thing that I had thought of before.
Because I only vaguely remember coming to this planet for moments before those weird robed individuals grabbed me.
And we still don't know why exactly they grabbed him, right? The cultist guys.
It was because apparently he was an expert on dragons.
Okay. We already have one of those.
Yeah.
The cultists have said the reason why they grabbed him and the reason why they were told to grab him is because he knew everything there was about dragons, and that's their shtick.
And the everybody else is the fact that he is a navigator.
Yeah.
Or a cartographer.
That seems to be the reason behind it. Yeah.
Right.
So either the cultists are idiots.
Which, I mean, they are.
Yes.
I think that's a given.
I don't know. Right there at the last little bit, it's
right there in the name, cultist.
There seemed to be a few that knew what they were doing, but the very grunt level ones were.
Yeah, those are the guys. Those are the guys selling the Fago and the Juggalo paint. Like,
watch it.
The rest of them are clearly not in on it.
Treading on thin ice there, Jakey.
Am I?
Yes, you are.
I mean, am I?
All right, so having dodged the side plot, we will head to the house.
Okay. Dodge the side plot. All right, so yeah.
There's coins turning into metal.
You guys get to where Hastrix house is, where you recognize the block, you recognize the, because remember his house was slightly different than the others because of just his sheer size. It was almost more like a garage that he lived in. Mm-hmm. Of which the big
it's where my band practices.
The big metal door is closed currently. I don't remember any of this. None of this looks familiar.
Do we hear anything inside?
You can make a perception. Your baseline perception does not give you any clues to anything inside except some wind chimes.
I'm gonna bet snoring.
That's probably not gonna do it. Now I got a 13, which is lower than my base. So.
Yeah, nothing.
19.
Other than the kind of rattle of some wind chimes outside, Manon, you can definitely hear the heavy, raspy, like up and down of very calm sleeping.
She's like, she puts her ear up at the door. She's like Harlan Williams in Up Periscope. She's like, somebody just dropped 35 cents. It sounds like a quarter and 2 nickels.
So what are we to do?
So if he's in there, do you guys want me to just open the garage door?
No, I think we send Team Stealth in to make sure.
I will wait here.
I concur, because I do believe this opening that door would be a crime.
What? Is Team Stealth me and Manon?
It's definitely not.
It's definitely mostly just.
Yeah, no, it's not me and Grazik.
I beg to differ. Grazik is very stealthy.
How about we have Grazik stack up on me, I'll stealthy, and then if we need to go Grazik stealthy, you can.
Grazik stealthy is just Grazik looking at you and saying, "I'm stealthy."
You can't see me, dummy.
I think
here.
Yeah, I think from a statistic point, I think Ben actually has a pretty high stealth.
Yeah,
It's just he does not play a subtle character.
there you go.
So what's the word? What you guys doing?
Yeah, let's pick the see if the door's unlocked. Pick it, open it, and I'll stealthy in.
I love sneaking in places. This is great.
So the main door, the main big overhead door, would be the opposite of a stealthy entrance. However, there is a side door. There's like a normal person size door that obviously Hastrix doesn't use.
Does Pontalius fit through it?
But Pontalius, maybe with like some maybe spit on it and pushed a second time. You know, like it would be really hard. But it's for you guys. You'd have no trouble going through that door.
Okay.
And Pontalius doesn't like this whole like breaking and entering thing. He wants to hang back with Ixeter and the Ur-man. He would like to stick back and enjoy what did you call him? Typhon. Enjoy his company rather than potentially illegal intrusion. Not that I'm judging.
It wasn't illegal. He was expecting us back.
No,
He definitely said that we should come back if we found anything out.
then perhaps we should knock.
I tap really, really quietly.
Man, it's like
I knock without even touching the door.
Like, oh look, there's no response. We should go in to make sure he's fine.
Trouble.
So, Typhon, as it were, are you, can you feel this? There was a hive of your creatures in my homeland. They felt nothing ever. Uh-oh.
I am fully capable of telling that you are touching my arm.
Oh, interesting. You are a fascinating creature. Do you prefer creature or are you an object? A device. Do you prefer device?
I do not.
What? So you prefer creature?
I prefer Typhon.
Interesting. A unique specimen. All right. So over at the while Pontalius is annoying the hell out of the unannoyable, Lassiter, Menon, you are over at the door. You go ahead and give me your oh, Ben's coming back in. Apparently he had a technical difficulty. Grazik was so stealthy. He actually fell
off the internet.
He literally blinked in.
Yeah, we lost you for a second, and then now you're back.
Very proud.
All right, so go ahead and make your Thieves' Tools sleight of hand. This lock has been so unused. You actually get advantage on this because it's just basically a rust trap in there, and if you touch it the right way, it's going to just fall open.
27.
Okay. All right. So
he's like, it turns into powder in his hand.
Yeah, he like brings the lockpick close and just whispers, "Open," and it's like, oh my god, I'm terrified of Lassiter the lockpick. The lock pops open without any trouble whatsoever. Silently, I might add. There's no big loud clunk or anything. And you are in charge of the door.
So if the lock was so rusty, and knowing that the first time we came through into this abode, we came in through the roll up like he did. Looking at the hinges, do they appear to be as rusty as the lock was?
Good call. Yeah, you're pretty sure that if someone were to open this door, it's probably going to at least squeak and maybe make even a worse sound.
Right. I call Typhon over real quick.
Of course, I give him some of my oil.
and then I'm like,
All right.
and
Every
then
good oil can.
a little jingle, a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
And then slowly, whatever direction it opens, in or out.
Chris,
It opens towards you.
You're Toto. I'm the Tin Man. She's Dorothy. Grazak is the Cowardly Lion, and Rick is the Scarecrow. Like,
What?
It's real. It actually is real.
I was gonna say the fact that works is boggling my brain.
amazing.
Yeah. Chapter 2 is Return to Oz, when everyone has nightmares for the rest of their lives.
Oh, right. Brian is the couch. He was actually my favorite character. I forget his name. The Gromp.
I don't. Oh, the second the Return to Oz as a movie was a horror show.
Yeah, yeah. It's not great.
It ruined me as a child. Look at what's happened to me. All right.
I'll pull the door towards me with Grazak on the side of the door. So if I see anything, I can rush it, push him in, or rush it.
Okay. You go to open the door.
Yeah.
You are met with the back side of a bookshelf. But you can see the books. Like, it's basically like someone has set. It's a door that he doesn't use, so he put a bookshelf in front of it.
This guy.
Of course he did.
But it's just like you can see through it. Like you can, even if you didn't move one of the books, you could like kind of look in the space above the books and look into the thing. You've almost kind of accidentally created an alley side peekaboo into his house.
All right.
I set up a portable
Call
camera,
everybody around
and I
me.
put that online with a new URL, and Chris and I make some more money off that.
I call everybody over. We just kind of, the Scooby-Doo stack.
Okay.
Looking.
I need you to. It is because you do not have dark vision, correct, Lassiter?
Correct. I am a human.
Okay. There is some light spilling in between the windows and things. Like it's not like as dark as a tomb in there or anything, but it's definitely got gloomy shapes and whatnot. Go ahead and give me a perception roll as you kind of gloom in. You like look in to try and figure out what you're looking at.
All right. 16. That's
So
14.
initially, what you thought was a big blue like couch is the dracon curled up in the middle of the room, like sleeping almost dragon style, except because it's got that kind of weird, slightly longer upper body. He's sort of like leaned sideways, like kind of lumped against himself. And you watch for just a second. The rise and fall of his chest. He's definitely he's got those big old dragon lungs. And that's when you see something very fast scurry off of him.
Okay.
And like bolt towards a back, like one of the back doors into like the kitchen area. Maybe the size of a small dog.
I don't like this at all. So I'll back up and I'll go. Oh shoot! There's something in there. Grazak, get it! Kick the bookshelf down and like get Grazak rushing in there. Go, Grazak, go into the kitchen.
Grazak, were you aware that you were going to be the surprise hammer of this?
Maybe.
Hammer, we know that.
All right, go ahead and give me, rather than having a surprise round, because he's like, boot this, and sure enough, the bookshelf falls in, books go flying everywhere. Like it wasn't like bolted down or anything. Go ahead and give me an initiative roll, Grazak, to see how quickly you turn that corner and get in there.
18.
All right, you bust into the room. Bum bum bum. Hastrix is snoozing in the middle of the room. Has just barely the burst has woken him up, and he's like, he's not up on his feet. He's just sort of leaned up, because remember he's got that centaur like body, so he's just sort of perched up on one arm, looking around. trying to figure out what the balls, you know, like what's going on. My world has changed.
Who would break in here?
Well, and
Who would steal 12 bag lunches?
it's damn Sasquatch.
I'll reiterate. It went through that door and into the kitchen, and I'm rushing everybody in. Something is
Okay.
was
Yeah, Hastrix is 100% confused. Like he's like rubbing his eye and looking around and like rubbing the back of his head, like, what is going on? What? My friends.
Fell through your door. There's something in your kitchen. I'm gonna go see what it is. Bye.
Yes. Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. The kitchen's that way.
I know. Thank you.
So go ahead and give me we're going to have you do an athletics test.
Oh, good.
Kind of like running into the kitchen.
On a 23.
I got to look something up real quick because you may have beat it, damn it.
Champion of all things.
Shit. I mean, darn. All right, so uncovering weirdness happens. So, Grazik, you bust around the corner just in time to basically see a roughly like maybe like a foot and a half across, 2 feet tops, a fuzzy brown spider.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Except it is not a spider because its head is actually like a big, long, extended. It almost looks like an eel.
I know what this is.
And it crawls up onto the window in the kitchen and like bends its little head around to look at you. It sees that you're following him, and he's just basically like with his little hand, and like he's got these 2 little tiny like creepy hands in front. Like where a spider would have pedipalps, he's got little hands.
Little T-Rex arms.
Little T-Rex arms. And he's fiddling with the window lock. And like his bigger like spider arms are like pounded on the glass trying to get out.
Oh my God, kill it.
Kill that fucking thing.
All right, Grazik, you get
Doesn't it have like weird greasy hair and sort of like a leather cowboy hat thing?
No, it does not.
Oh, okay.
It's not wearing any headgear whatsoever. In fact, it actually has a little belt on.
Chris, I'm watching you slowly break down.
All right, Grazik, you get
so grim. It's so grim.
You get 1 action, Grazik, before before it will finish the round. I hate you, Jake.
Me?
I mean, I love you, but I hate you.
I know.
Can I attack it with my club and then use action search to do it again?
Yes. I wish you would say no. I wish I could say no to that, but yes.
I just can't quit you.
I believe I will. 7:59 is what Rick's doing.
I need to step away. So
okay. Chris, if you want to take a step out for a minute, we'll finish this up, and then we will take.
Ixodor will come through the door and immediately begin to reshelve all those books that fell on the ground.
Fair enough.
Obviously, that is literally the most important thing that I have
Alphabetically.
actually been like, oh my God, I gotta fix those books.
Well, and honestly, as soon as this little altercation is done, we'll take a quick break, and the viewers won't even know you were gone.
Yeah, great.
the magic of editing and television.
The magic of YouTube.
I will attempt to clobber this poor misshapen creature.
It does not want. It will take an action to not want to get hit.
I hit a bunch.
On the table.
I threw another down on the floor. I was so excited to be a murder hobo. Yeah, I hit a 23.
The armor class of this small creature is a 15.
Beautiful. And we'll do 8 points of damage.
All right. You hit it, and it's like it's because it's got that chitinous shell. It almost kind of like I don't know if in real life if you've ever tried to step on a roach and they flatten themselves out. They like let out their gas so they don't become squished. You smack him right in the back of that abdomen, and he goes and like basically like wheezes with the blow, so it doesn't do nearly as much damage as you thought it was going to do. And then you may action surge.
Yes.
And then I will hit him again. And I hit a 21 this time for...
Quit hitting my little guy.
Oh, can't keep my dice on the table. For 10 this time.
All right. Okay, so yeah, you smack it. You crack one of its back legs, and this green kind of like glow stick looking material kind of oozes out.
Is this thing trying to scrabble out the window where I am?
No, you're on the other side. You're on in the alley side.
I was just curious to see if I've seen it.
Not yet. He is not gonna attack you. He is really going to focus on that window and basically pops the lock and scrabbles out the window. He is not making a disengage action because he had to interact with the device, so you get a free swing.
Hit a 19.
Quit hitting my guy.
For 11.
Quit it.
Right, like basically it's on its way out the window, and your club connects with the window frame, leaving like a big old dent in the wood, but also leaves behind, like you basically break a leg off, and like trap the leg under your club, but the actual thing's like it's still alive and scampers out into the alley.
No.
Lassiter and Manon, you guys are actually in the main room. Typhon, Lassiter was trying to get you guys in the building, but Pontalius was having none of it. He was like, "I'm not breaking entering. I don't care what kind of weirdness you're into."
I was actually assuming I was waiting in front of the big door in case he tried to grab it. So
okay, yeah. So basically, I would say you and Pontalius are doing the roughly the same thing, and Ixidor is trying to gather up books because what a travesty.
So if Typhus and Pontilius are in front of the roll-up door and we went around to the side to where the other door was, is there a chance that critter would go in that direction, not knowing that
not knowing that there were no, he definitely saw you guys come in the bookshelf side.
Yeah, but we weren't there.
That those two weren't there at all.
Okay, you know what? I will give him a
death check because he's
a chance. Basically, it's going to be a percentile based roll to see whether or not, almost like if I go look, because I didn't map out this part of the city. Where he's headed might be to the left.
Yeah, of course.
I know where he's going, but whether or not that's left or right.
But with that missing leg, he's only going in the circle.
Yeah, he can only turn right.
He's got several others. He's fine. All right, yeah. So Typhon, you do not see a little scurrying weirdo.
Okay.
And obviously neither does Pontalius. Otherwise, yeah. All right, so Lassiter, Manon, you guys technically are in an initiative situation if you would like to be, if you want to enter the kitchen or anything like that, or basically are you just kind of focused on the
big blue guy,
sleepy dracon in the middle of the room?
I mean, I didn't see the creepy thing because I wasn't looking for the door in time.
Okay.
So I will just walk in and be ready to talk to what's
Hastrix.
his name? Hastrix, yeah.
When he starts to kind of realize what's going on, and well, my new friends are in my house, and that's interesting.
Yep.
That's not what I was expecting.
Well, like you do to any big beast that's startled, like
I grab a blanket and put it over his eyes.
Yeah.
I hold him upside down so he falls back asleep like a lobster.
You had an intruder.
I don't.
Do you usually sleep on the floor?
Well, this is my home. Yes.
I wasn't sure if you slept on the floor. Most creatures.
When I came in last night, I may not have made it all the way to my nest. He points over to like there's a pile of like beanbag pillows and things in a corner. I may not have made it quite that far, but you're here. You're here.
Which
Yeah,
is,
and I
great.
described him as like, you had a spider thing with a neck, like up, like this. It was like this on you, and it skittered away when we opened the door, because you told us to come back if we found anything. It was on you, and it skittered away. It was like a spider with like a.
Are there more? Get them off.
I think I'll throw a leg near him. There you go. That's part of him. You're welcome.
Does that creature sound familiar to me?
Let's say.
I know what it is.
Shut up, Jake.
They're gross.
When Grazit comes in with the leg, you will have advantage on a history check, because in Shard Space there have been problems in the past with this particular critter becoming an issue. So your family probably has at one time been handed a poster by someone that was like, hey, be on the lookout for these things.
You see something? Say something.
Yeah.
That's a 16 plus 2 for an 18.
All right. Yeah, then I will. I'm actually going to put up a picture for not only for the viewers to know what we're talking about, but also so you guys get to see it. What the critter that you knew it by. You know it by it's called a mind spider. That's what your people have passed it around. As far as the that they're horrible little nasties that like to get involved in lots of things that they shouldn't and end up taking over. And it looked like this.
That thing is fucking gross.
And and we're back from showing you the mind spider. While we were playing around with imagery, returned from the void. So yeah, that's what you remember, Menon, is that these mind spider things, they are not animals. They are definitely sentient creatures, and they cause they wreak havoc wherever they show up.
Gross. And
yeah.
That
was what I was going to say.
Do not like.
Manon, what does that mean, wreak havoc?
Things just go wrong around them. Like shipments get sent to, like entire shipments would go to the wrong place.
Like because they do weird things, or because they create an aura of chaos which causes stuff to happen?
Generally speaking, it seems like weak-willed crews or weak-willed laborers and things will find themselves doing unexpected and stupid things around them that cause entire shipments to just vanish. A boat will sail away to head off to another port city and then just never appear. And then 6 months later, that boat washes up on shore in a completely another, like hundreds of miles away, devoid of everything with a bunch of dead bodies in it.
Or how about coins in a marketplace being replaced with non-coins?
That seems pretty low on the totem pole, the kind of stuff that they do, but it's possible that maybe they start small and build themselves up to these grand gestures of awfulness. But it is universally known that wherever these things are spotted, ugliness follows.
Bad things happen.
Yeah.
Okay. That's no bueno.
And right now you have a little leg about yay long. The ichor that is oozing out of the broken end has all but coagulated into this rubbery substance.
Did the creature get away, or did you?
No, it got away.
Was the window too small to pursue it?
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to fit through that window. Ixidor could have, Menon could have, Lassiter probably could if he gave himself a little bit of a shoulder bop, but you were just a little too a little too bugbear.
Jumped out the window. I'm not feeling real limber today, so I couldn't follow it.
Makes sense. I'll pick up the leg, the creature's leg, and I'll be like flicking it at him, going, "Are you holding court with creatures of this type?"
Well, at this point, it's not flicking anymore. You're kind of it's almost like a pointer,
but
which is still just as I was gonna say, which is still just as okay. You're like, it's like if you ever at like a seafood joint, you've got a crab leg in your hand. You're punctuating your sentences with a crab leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hastrix is like rubbing his head, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'll turn to Manon and be like,
I came in last night. I came in last night after a few. And,
should we check out the dates?
A few.
I had a few, and this is as far as I made it. And then suddenly, your people are knocking down my bookshelves.
I fell through the door. That's not my fault. It's not a very good door.
Well, no, I appreciate it. It sounds like I had things crawling on me. God, there might be more. And he fully stands up and starts like lifting, like looking under couch cushions and things.
Is Pontalius still waiting outside?
Yeah.
Just by himself now?
He can't get in the side door.
Oh, so we'll want to open the door and bring Dum Dum in.
I mean, that sounds right, because Typhon's still out there too, right?
You mentioned Dum Dum, and the Hastrix's brow furrows. And he goes, "You didn't bring that cultist back here, did you?"
No.
No, he ran away. Ixidor just says that as he's putting books in piles.
He might be dead.
No, he ran away.
Okay.
The other ones are dead.
Yes.
As they're like old couple bantering back and forth about the various fates of cultists, I'm walking over to the big like bay door, being like, "No, we found a different friend for you," and just kind of swing the door open.
Pontalius startled. Oh my! And Hastrix, friend, my best friend in the world, and he like kind of hobbles out to give him to like throw his arms around him, and Pontalius looks legitimately like, sir, compose yourself. Gather yourself together. We shared one drink. What? Unhand me, scaly scapwallians. And he backs him away, and he's like, "But we're I don't understand. You're my best friend."
Yeah.
Maybe he's also under magical control.
And Hastrix looks at you guys. Whatever it takes. However, you've brought him back to me. Anything. Say anything. Whatever you want.
Is there a way for us to find out if?
Is his mind melted?
Yeah, like how would we find out? Like if he's under a Gias or
I go like this, and I point at.
Oh, our resident mind assassin.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I can do it, but
I mean, I can't tell if he is under a spell, but I can tell if they are actually friends.
Fair enough. So a detect magic would show whether or not there's an active a spell upon him.
But it would have to be something long-term. That's why I'm saying something like a Gias, because if it was just a spell, someone would have to be reapplying it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm out of character. I am unfamiliar with that, but could it be applied as a potion through his drink?
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's all kinds of mental manipulation poisons. Yeah.
Or a gribbly spider creature bite.
Yeah.
Also a possibility.
Those things are like those things are like mental things.
It has like a sausage head on a spider body. It obviously has mind powers.
I mean, it is called, on my world, the Mind Spider.
Oh,
A sausage head on a spider body. I love you, Ben.
The Ixidor will pull himself away from bookshelving and says to Hastrix, I need to look at your neck and your head.
Absolutely, anything. You've saved my best friend in the world.
All right, lay down. Be quiet. I'm going to look to see if there's a bite or a
go ahead and give me a medicine check as you scurry about his neck and shoulders.
I get a 22.
Look at you.
That's a nat 20.
So there's not any active bites or anything like that, but there's definitely marks of physical contact. Like several scales are like scratched. There's definitely there's been something that's been giving some attention to that back of the head, neck area. I mean, in theory, it could just be he sleeps hard, but it doesn't seem that way. With a 22, it definitely looks like something's been poking and prodding him back there in his gray matter.
Ew.
I'll say I think that's where I saw the creature when I looked through the bookshelf. I think that's in that general area where you are, Ixidor.
He's like rubbing the back of his head when you're focused on it, and now suddenly he's very aware. He's like,
Yeah. Oh.
No, it couldn't have been. I'm an impenetrable mental fortress.
I actually chuckle.
The only reason that I drink as much as I do is to numb the sheer volume of genius level thinking that I do. There's no way he could get through my wall of logic that is my skull.
Yeah, same.
Can I
Or making stuff up.
Everybody, can I try something real quick? Just I want to test to see if that is true. What's his name again?
Hastrix?
Yes.
Chris, check your phone.
I'm going to say, will you allow me to test that theory of how impenetrable your mind is?
I don't see why this is necessary. You've brought me back, my friend. We can move on. What's the next thing that you need? Don't worry about me and my mental capacity. You've already
as a cast charm person on him.
All right. What is your DC to avoid being charmed?
Not that good.
Not that good.
Hold on. It really isn't that good. 12. The save DC is 12.
I suppose for you, my dear friend, I would let you try just about anything. You were instrumental in fixing in repairing my long relationship with Pontalius here. Which the entire time, by the way, Pontalius is like, he looks legitimately. You've seen him look off-put before, but like in that noble way. This is legitimately like, I don't like the feeling that I'm squicked out by what's happening right now.
Yeah.
He's legitimately like, no, something's wrong with this big lizard.
Okay. So based on that dialogue you just threw back at me, does it seem like the charm person worked?
I would think so.
I go, well, what I'd really like for you to do is if you could please just go sit down over there. And I point to his cushions, his nest.
Oh, that sounds very comfortable. It's better than sleeping on the floor. Rum is a harsh mistress.
And as soon as he starts talking, I tell him, no, stop. Come back to me. Sit here, right in front of me.
Okay.
And then I tell him to raise one arm up and kind of look all sexy looking, as you know, like. And then as soon as he's in that weird position,
I am uncomfortable.
I let it go.
Are we playing a strange game? What are we doing?
As soon as he's done, I go. I stop the spell. I go, look at yourself. Just look at you.
Look at you.
I broke into your mind and I made you do all this. Everybody agree?
Yeah. Anyone can do that. It's not real hard.
I did these things because we are friends. I believe that. I hate that you would stress and put such tension on our friendship. I've only known you a short while, but I would like to help you as you have helped me.
So I did not like this guy.
How many of the cultists did you kill?
That's a good question.
I lost count.
That sounds excellent. They are a plague upon this community.
Yeah. More than a bunch, less than a few, normal stuff.
But what can I do? What can I do to help you? Someone had mentioned destiny before. This has obviously been written in Fate's books. What can I do to assist you?
Money.
I live off of a university stipend, but I would gladly give what I have.
All right, so
we require a cartographer and a ship.
The ship, I know of a few that are docked here, but I myself have no access to one.
Mm-hmm. So we're all under the
assumption
If I did,
Pontalius and I would sail the stars together, and we would see untold futures and the frontier itself.
All right, so everyone, we're under the assumption here that this is a form of mind control.
Yes.
I think he's quite mad, personally. No offense.
Psychic suggestion.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
Yeah, whether it be memory manipulation or mind control.
Right.
Clearly something has altered his mind.
And why would someone want to do that? And who would do that? I'm trying to think of if we... So your mind spiders, do they have any truck with the gift?
Not that you know Yankee? Nothing. I mean, you can make a history roll, but nothing sparking.
I mean, I don't know anything about them, so
yeah.
I'm just trying to think who we saw in the bar where he was.
I mean, so it's painfully obvious that there's some kind of magic or something here afoot. You guys have clarified that, correct? Okay.
Yeah, something's definitely.
And no one cares about Hastrix except Hastrix, right? Like nobody's like, oh, we need this guy for a ship, right? Like they all want Pontalius.
No, Pontalius is kind of creeped out of this stranger.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Pontalius has made it abundantly clear that he thinks the guy's all right. They shared a drink when he got here, but that's as far as their relationship ever really went.
And the other crews, though, seem to have an interest in Pontalius. Like it seems like the other crews want him.
Everybody sort of wants him, right?
So somebody was trying to flim-flam us, bring Dum Dum back here so they could have their Spider-Man come take him from us. But
I think we need to get out of here with him and find a ship.
Yes.
I mean, there's one more thing we're not really looking at here is Pontalius doesn't even remember going and getting captured, being taken through the tunnels. He might actually be friends, but he has had his mind wiped. We may be actually looking at the wrong person.
But I do remember earlier. I remember before. Before coming here, I remember Captain Sarl sent me to sent us here.
So so in that time before, you've never met this individual.
I'm afraid to say, like stage whisper, I'm afraid to say yes, it may make him cry.
that'd be funny.
I would agree with that statement.
I don't want to see a dragon cry.
Makes me very happy.
I want to see a dragon cry.
It'd make Ixidor very happy. Yeah.
I wouldn't say I've never seen a dragon cry. I'm very interested.
Hastrix
Give me enough time to get my sketchbook out.
What are we? So, can I? Yes. Grazik. Yes. Hang on one moment. And he gets up and he starts rifling through his things, and he pulls out a pouch full of jingly coins. And he's like, you requested payment, and it's the least I can do for reacquainting you with my brother from another plane of existence.
Right?
Huh.
Guys goes up.
Tucks it in his belt.
30 gold pieces.
Job's done. All right, so time to go.
I'm kind of curious as to what memories he has of Pontalius, outside of just knowing that he's your friend. Like, what have you guys done together?
Oh, well, we gone on many adventures here on Halastup. We've been many places.
I'm looking at Pontalius.
Pontalius is like, one drink. One. Perhaps two if I got a refill, but that's as far as it went. I promise, he and I have never shared any adventures. No, that's simply not true. Hastrix legitimately looks, like suddenly, you've obviously you don't remember things right. Those cultists have scrambled those beautiful, beautiful pachydermy brains.
Yeah, I got nothing, guys. I can't.
I mean, if it is this something that, Culver, do you have a way to can you check for any kind of mental manipulation?
Oh,
I mean, you're usually the mind taker. But can you
so I can interrogate and read thoughts, but and like their emotional state and stuff like that. But if he is convinced of something, I don't know if I can tell that thing is wrong.
Right. Especially if it's a situation like this where he 100% is unaware. It appears that he's 100% unaware that he's being manipulated by someone.
Okay, but but to get back to the original story. So as far as we know, Hastrix legit is like a student here on this planet. Like that is
he absolutely is. Like he was talking to other when you guys met him, he was talking to other cartography students.
Got it.
They were like he absolutely does go to school here and
Pontalius is clearly not a student from here and is literally off the boat, came down for like a away mission and got kidnapped by cultists.
Now you are not sure why he came down here. Pontalius has never really talked about why he came down to the planet from the Hull Nasher. But yeah, like he basically came down from the Lizardman ship, and then during that time while he was here, the cultists swept him away. And when he didn't return, based off of what the Lizardmen common folk told you, the crewmen, when he didn't return, that was when Captain Sarl sent Krut and a couple of muscles down to go fetch him.
All right. So thinking logically, Typhon's like, look, we don't know why Hastrix has had his memory altered.
Or that I didn't.
And at the same time, we also don't know that Pontalius hasn't had his memory altered. We do know that Hastrix is a student here at the school, so he should stay here and continue that. And Pontalius should come with us, and we should find a ship and leave this place.
Hastrix growls almost menacingly and says, no, you will not take my friend from me. Just like the others, you want to take my friend away. Get out. Get out of my house.
All right, so everyone take Pontalius and leave.
Yeah, Pontalius is like, all right, that sounds like a great idea. I'm backing the hell out. He's like, no, you don't have to go. You can stay. It's them. They don't understand. They don't understand our relationship.
They don't understand our love.
They don't understand our love, our forbidden dragon elephant love.
That's a South Park episode, I'm sure.
Okay, yeah.
And he looks at Lassiter and is like, take your robot, take your robot and leave.
Oh, okay.
First you play with me like some kind of toy with our relationship, and now your metal henchman wants to take away my friend.
Are we gonna cry?
So what is Pontalius doing at this point?
He's backing away because he's like, I don't want to live with this guy. I don't barely know.
Azak is gonna walk back to Pontalius and be like, Dum-Dum, we gotta get out of here before something weird happens.
Stop calling me that.
Your given name, don't worry about it. Pat him on the back.
It's your given name.
It's your given hobgoblin name.
At this point, I refuse to move until Grazik calls me by my first name.
I honestly don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Like, I'm in the doorway and I just kind of slowly turn around and look at Pontalius like, you choose now to make a stand over this.
It's a matter of honor.
Hey, he's all yours. We're going.
Oh, God be damned! And he blows like a little trumpet through his trunk, like a little, there's a little. Oh, I'm so angry right now, and stomps out into the street. No, don't go! Don't let them confuse you.
As we're all walking out, and I'll take the roll top piece, and just let it drop in front of me. Yeah.
It's like you'll regret this.
I'm sure he's gonna hire. I'm sure he's gonna hire another band of adventurers and seek out his best friend, and we're gonna have to fight them too.
I mean, that's.
So, he's quite mad, isn't he? He terrifies me.
He terrifies me.
Yes. So you were on a ship? I guess we need to go back to your ship.
Yes, I was an indentured servant on the Hull Nasher. I'm not a slave. I was being paid.
Oh, okay.
But does he doesn't have a band on his arms, right?
Correct. He doesn't have a slavery band.
So that's been forgiven. Otherwise, you'd still have a band.
No, it's that would require me to be legitimately owned by the crew, by the captain.
Oh. So we aren't going to get in trouble.
Yeah. Grazik's gonna pull out Crutch Bracer. I don't owe him any money. I'm not paying him.
I mentioned this before. This one, he points to Grazik, he's going to get you in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah. We all agree on that.
Ridiculous statement. I'm the best leader here. Best brains.
As long as you're aware, then so be it.
So now that we're outside the building.
Yeah, and you can hear Hastrix making all kinds of angry sounds inside his apartment.
I think at this point, I really think we should maybe head to the crash ship and see if it's something we can fix and get out of here.
I'm beginning to agree with you because there is more going on here than we are aware of, which is the worst place to be.
Yeah.
Things on this floating rock are about to go south.
Any of you guys interdimensional spaceship mechanics?
Wait, what did you say, Grazik?
Any of you guys? This is out again. Any of you guys interdimensional spaceship mechanics? Because Grazik has an idea and he's pushing real hard for it.
What are you looking to do?
Let's go take Captain Squirrel's ship and we'll take Dum Dum with us and have a good time. It would be great. Best plan.
I mean, and you said they have a tradesman.
The Whole Nasher is a hammerhead.
That's a hammerhead. All right. So a hammerhead is definitely a better ship than a mosquito or a wasp.
None of you know how to fix giant bugs, and I left my book on that at home. So
It all depends on if they are also technically land vehicles.
They are not. They are decidedly boats. They're boats.
Now, far be it from me to. Can we walk further away from his house? The sounds he's making make me feel like he's going to leave the building soon and cause problems.
I feel like this is a walk and talk situation.
Definitely a walk and talk.
Miss Orion, you are wonderful, and I appreciate everything you bring to this group. You highlight everything it is about civilization and humanity.
I try.
The carpet with a club, however, requires a different amount of tolerance.
Oh, rub one head. That was a good one. I like that one. Carpet with a club. I'll use that. Thank you.
Ooh,
You complimented him.
I've made a friend.
Honestly, he grows on you.
Like moss, like it.
Like a carpet with a club.
Like delicious.
Like delicious. So as you're walking down the street, Grazik, a small pebble, like maybe like a less than the size of a quarter, kind of hits you in the shoulder. And initially you think that it's one of these guys maybe poked you or maybe bumped into you or something like that. And then another one. Typhon, you absolutely can hear this. There's no question. There is a hushed, whispered voices from the alley that you guys are walking past going, hey.
Oh!
Turn.
There are two goblins in basic street attire. I mean, they're not. I mean, like they're in breeches and bloused shirts.
They're dressed like Tucker Carlson.
One's got an apron on.
Are either one of them
They were dressed up like girls from Alston.
No, I said are they all dressed like Tucker Carlson?
Tucker Carlson.
Are they vaguely brine scented?
Oh yeah, no, you can smell the pickles coming off them.
Are either one of them the one I randomly decided was number one? Can I not tell?
This is going to sound well. You know what? You might actually be able to go ahead and give me history with advantage.
I rolled a 19, which I don't think I can roll better than.
Yeah, this one, one of his eyes is slightly further north in the orbit than the other. He's been walloped as a child.
Yeah.
So as a bugbear, you recognize a lot of little differences in goblins.
Oh, great. Number 1 and number 3. What's going on, boys?
Hey, you're number 3 now.
Promotion.
Hey.
That apron really does it for you.
How's business? Let's talk.
Come here.
Yeah, I'm all in.
All right. Business has been good.
What are the streets saying? You hearing anything?
I mean, we're selling good product. None of us are dead. The constables are leaving us alone.
Yeah.
Things seem to be okay. A bunch of weird painted-faced guys came out of the barrens, and the tavern's been shut down all day. Which means our shine is selling like gold.
We have shine?
Yeah, you knew that, right?
Do now.
Oh.
Pickleback!
What are you hearing about the lizards? What are they doing?
Oh, lizards?
Yeah.
He looks at the other one. They whisper back and forth a little bit about, do you have anything about lizards? I don't know shit about lizards. They go back and forth. No clue as to what's it's almost like thieves can't. It's goblin can't. It's back and forth, and he goes, no, we have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
All right, so quick apology for the technical snafu. I had a real life thing, and I ended up having to pause the video and whatnot. So we're back, and we're back with the goblins. The goblins in the alley discussing with Grazik about the success of his pickle barony at this point. And you had asked them about lizards, and they're like, "We don't know nothing about no lizards."
Okay. And the cultists they fed ran off in the barrens or something, right?
Yeah, the barons, they came up with a bunch of smeared face paint guys. They came up and they went running for the hills. Or their houses, whatever.
Take half of Hastrix money that he gave me, so 15 gold. Put it in number 1's hand.
Like, all right, keep moving the shine. We'll get the constables in on the take. We got this.
Oh, bribes. I got you.
Keep your eyes open. We're looking for these lizards and any spiders with sausage heads. You see them? Like this. No, you haven't. It's okay. You'll see one.
No. Sauce? What?
Yeah.
They were like, they're these weird. Like, so once he describes it, do I know what they are?
Actually, go ahead and give me a history check. That might jog your. I mean, it's
Not with that roll.
well. It also wouldn't jog much. It's a spider with a sausage head. That's a stretch.
I lean over and say, "Mind spider."
They lean. They like look closer at Grazik and go, "She touched."
Yeah. They're all kind of. They're good people.
They're good people.
They mean well.
All right.
They don't know.
So bribe the guards. Move the shine. Look out for lizards. Got it, man. Yes, sir. Ha ha!
So proud.
He like shells off a couple of them to number 3, which apparently is now a thing. And they scamper off into the darkness. Your pickle minions are off doing things.
Fear what will happen when we ever should return to this place. What those two little monsters are going to make of
You guys are
whole
going
barony.
to come back in a year, and it's just going to be a one giant goblin territory. And like, what happened here? And be like, your barony just kept expanding. Yes.
Grazik is all about putting you in a leadership position. I'm about giving you the tools to your own boss.
That's fantastic. All right, so that's so good. All right, yeah. So Pontalius is ready to move on. Well, it's the further we get away from that creepo Hastrix house, the better. Oh, I can't believe it. I mean, did you see the way he just embraced me? Like, oh, it's like we were childhood bosom buddies.
Yeah, no one would want to do that, especially with you. That's weird.
I don't even let my friends touch me there.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, the Earth thing has decided to spurn us to action. Let's go, creature device.
Bump him on the head. Typhon.
Yes,
Yeah.
Typhon device. Let's go.
Better, closer, warmer.
All right, so do we? I forget. Didn't Rick find out where the hammerhead is?
He knows that it's the hammerhead. It's too big to land, so it has to send out landing craft, and so it's still technically in orbit. And on certain times of the day or night, you can see it. Like you can actually just say, "Oh, there it goes." You know, you can see it up in space.
So maybe we could fix the wasp or whatever it is, and take it up there.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right?
Maybe we just get them to come down here.
Just make them wait long enough until they eventually show back up. So I don't mean to intrude with my great intellect, but your plan is to find a broken ship and then bring it to a not broken ship?
If we can make the ship, I would say, I guess, space worthy, I think we should keep the Wasp. If it's not something we can make space worthy, we might still be able to get it off the ground and then go to the hammerhead.
But whose is it?
And we don't know.
So it could be salvage.
Yes.
Yes, it's salvage.
Looter strike. It's going to be mine.
Oh, well, if that's the case, of course I have no problem with salvaging a vessel. Then yes, absolutely. Let's patch the damn thing up and get off of this rock. And then go see my captain, and explain this whole tangled web. Oh, spiders. This giant mess.
That sounds like a great idea.
Explain.
So glad you had it.
Yes. Now, the actual repair of the vessel, I will do my best.
I have a feeling I might be able to help in that. I have a way with, tinkering with things, and I'm guessing that the robot or the
Typhon device,
the typhus.
Typhus.
I like how the bugbear can get it right, and yet these two morons can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me make it easy for Typhon. I'm going to speak to the Loxodon and the Loxodon and have this conversation.
Your parlance is
Incredibly bad.
you, sir.
I don't think you understand how bad it is.
I appreciate the nuance that you inject into my home tongue.
But I think we can figure it out.
Yes. Are you from? Are you from from my home?
No, I read it in a book once.
I am astonished that you would learn so much from the pages of a mere tome. The Loxodon language has long been considered.
I'm sorry, this wasn't meant to go this long.
Oh, well, yes. Shall we? We'll have lots of time together in the whole Nasher when we discuss things.
Oh no. I've made a mistake.
Oops.
You made a friend.
No.
He's gonna be hugging you like Hastrix was hugging him.
Oh, no.
All right, so I take it you guys are just basically heading out. Now you are still kind of on the sleepy side. You know, you've been at it a little while.
Yeah, we were planning to rest at Hastrix, but that didn't
place.
happen.
But the bar/inn/convention center is closed now.
Convention center.
Like all the rest of them. I miss conventions. Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry, I just assumed
Jabbed
that
me
was
to
the
heart.
I just assumed that was the Loxodon being angry.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of both. So, I don't remember ever sleeping anywhere. So I don't think I have a house here.
Good.
Or a room or an apartment. I'm not sure. I mean, I would gladly pay for, well,
You gladly pay us
Gladly
Tuesday
help
for a
me
hamburger
for
today? I get it. You'll gladly pay us Tuesday for a hamburger today. We get it.
he checks his little side pouch where he's been digging money out during the bazaar, and he goes, perhaps a help with it I could, but I don't believe I could cover the whole amount.
I think we have some left over from the first ship that brought us here.
Hold on, I have been gathering gold for a while.
Yeah.
Under normal
yeah.
circumstances, I would gladly pay for all of us.
Oh, yeah, we have like 333 gold.
331.
Oops.
I spent 2 gold.
We also have that book of draconic gibberish.
Plus 17 silver coins. Plus
Never sell a
10
book. Books aren't for selling.
coins.
Books are for worship.
Oh, I will, some point between now and next session, I will have to add up all of our various coinage.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of random coins.
Yes.
But we have, at a minimum, 10 platinum.
Oh, well, we can easily, with that, we should be able to fetch a suite somewhere, and yourself, obviously, a room of your own for your own privacy would be a necessity.
Same.
I myself would say that I would require a room for myself. I snore terribly, but in such dire straits, I will room with the rest of you like a commoner.
Exactly. We're trying to keep it on the down low.
We're also trying to be thrifty.
I know
That's
not
not
the meaning
fair.
of the word. There's some translation issue. What is this, thrifty?
I
Assume
fly in
we're poor.
Loxodon. And I say cheap in Loxodon.
Oh. That is saved for clergy and fools.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is taking too long.
He's like, just let's get to the damn place. All right, so yeah, it is not hard to track down basically a place to stay. The tavern itself, when the goblins weren't getting the tavern establishment, the hell, the tavern establishment itself was closed. It's got a big sign on the door. The guy who the guy who runs it apparently did not show up for work today. And
That's weird. It's almost like something chaotic is going on in this whole dang place.
Need to get out of here.
But there is someone that is basically there taking money to rent rooms. And so yeah, and he's like, yeah, for 5 gold, I'll let you in the room upstairs.
I like that price a lot better than 10 platinum.
5 gold for that much? That's the room rate is a silver. Ugh.
Hey, you know what? You're right. So how about 4 gold, and I'll get you 2 rooms, but still only 1 key.
Huh?
It's the same key for both places.
Connected rooms? Or just every room has the
If you
same
want them to be, sure.
Like, what's the catch here?
There's no one really staying here. We got a lot of vacancies.
Oh,
Yeah, seems good.
Yeah, if you guys, yeah. So
4 gold, 2 rooms, and a hot meal.
4 gold. What's up?
4 gold for 2 rooms and a hot meal for everybody.
I will have to talk to the owner. I can't get into the kitchen.
Isn't it the same key?
Yeah, you know what? It can be. Hot meal's fine.
Deal.
All right. He pockets the money. He gives you a key, and basically hands you 2 padlocks and the key, and is like, use these to lock your room.
Oh my God.
Makes sense to me.
And then once he has given you those 2 padlocks and a key, you see him walk away from the tavern.
Yeah.
He heads in a different direction.
Didn't even have to roll insight to know that guy was just like, I'm going to go live like a king now. You're welcome. You now own a tavern.
No.
Maybe not own it, but basically he rented out a couple of spare rooms on the second floor, and
Did he just get scalped?
good luck getting your hot meal tomorrow. But
You know what?
Wait, so let me get this straight.
Mutuals
Did you guys?
We're going to figure out a way to get a hot meal tomorrow.
Did you guys just talk to some like random guy on the street? Like you were like, "Hey, I'd like to buy 2 rooms," and he was like, "Totally."
it was a guy in front of the tavern selling rooms. He was specifically he was offering rooms to people.
He's a scalper. This guy.
Yeah, you guys just gave money to some random dude who's like, "That was easy."
And he sold you 10 silver worth of lock and key, so you can lock your door. You know, he's 100%. You know, lock your door. He doesn't have the actual key to the door itself, so you can't lock the regular door. You've got to lock it at the hinge.
No, what'll be funny is we walk in and the owner's inside.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. The owner's going to be like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Oddly enough, it is not the case, but they're not bedrooms. They're basically just storerooms that have some boxes. He rented you 2 attic rooms.
I mean, I sleep in this bag anyway, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good to go.
I'm frustrated, but I'm like, you know what? This was on me. I'm an idiot. I don't care.
Grazik, one of the walls has got a whole bunch of, we're going to call it grease paint. It's probably not. But there's a lot of goblin scrawling, like goblin graffiti. This is a common goblin like flop house.
It says stuff like "whoop whoop."
Wait, the tavern that we were at before, this is a different tavern.
That's written in grease paint. You said
In Juggalo, it was written in grease paint.
It is written in goblin. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misheard. That's my bad.
I love and hate you all.
It's written in Juggalo.
So it's basically just a bunch of, and it's a lot of out by dawn, like warnings in Goblin that are effectively the how to stay here, how to stay in this room safely.
Oh, great! I own this place now. This is awesome.
This is my place. I own this.
Well, we did pay.
I like how Grazik is diversifying his portfolio.
Yeah, real estate mogul, pickle baron.
Nice, I like it. A pickle in every pillow. Pillow in every room.
Pickle in every pillow.
That's it.
Oh, it's such a nice place. You go in there. There's a pickle on the pillow when you get there. It's delicious. I love it.
Pillow. There's a carafe shine.
Shit all over the walls.
There's grease paint on the walls.
It's a continental breakfast. It's just pickles.
When you fall asleep, it's Bill.
That's so good. All right, so Pontalius is he says he's going to do. I'll make do with as much as I can here. He moves a couple of boxes around. He says some things. Lassiter recognizes some of the things he says in Loxodon to be basically, I can't believe I'm staying like a peasant. This is ridiculous. You know, my room on the Hull Nasher is better than this. But you know, it's a lot of complaining under his breath and not in common. You know, he's sparing you from hearing him grumble. For everyone else's perspective, except for Lassiter, it sounds like he's just basically kind of humming to himself and occasionally like, you know, whatever.
We also don't care.
Yeah. I mean, like you're used to hearing him kind of spout off. In this case, it's just in a language you don't understand.
I will reply in common to his complaints under my breath, but only so he can hear it. Because dang it, I feel like maybe we're bonding here. I'm not really happy about it, but I'll be like, oh, it's less than commoners. What we're about to do. We're sleeping less than commoners, and I'm actually not quite happy about it either.
Yep. He will find the fact that you say I'm not quite happy about it either. He finds that connection of at least you also are unhappy with this, and he might even complain a little bit about the lizard folk that he's been staying with for the last couple of weeks. You know that they often sleep in a pile. Like they don't even have even barrack nests. You know, they don't even bivouac. They just sort of lump in one corner, and it's this foul-smelling, scaly mess. But it does give you a lot of extra room to lay out in the rest of the room. You know, like there's a highlight to living with lizard men.
So but I also let him know because I for some reason I feel like I'm getting this like laser beam eye burn in the back of my skull when I say that whispery like I say, but it being what it is, I don't blame the individual who got us the rooms because it's all we got available to us, and then I kind of like.
I absolutely understand, and I'm sure she would rather stay in better conditions if she could. Oh wait, I forgot to stage whisper. I'm sure she would rather stay in better conditions than if she could.
I would agree, but there are no graveyards around here.
He looks at her. So, Manon, you're over there kind of like trying to make the best out of like a bedroll situation. And you can always tell when someone's talking about you across the room, but you may not know what's being said. You look back over, nonchalant, just like, oh, hey, what's going on over there? And Lassiter and Pontalius have slowly turned their heads at you, and the look on Pontalius's face is like abject horror. Like it's his eyes and pupils are wide. He's got that kind of little bit of a slack jaw. His trunk is flat and like just completely straight down, like. And then when he sees that you're looking, he waves slowly, like, keep her happy, and then goes back to what he's doing, and he says, is she some kind of witch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yes.
But she's our witch, right?
I wouldn't say it in those terms.
She's her own witch.
No, oh no, I mean no disrespect. I mean she's with us.
Yeah.
The royal hour.
Yes. That. Yes.
Good evening, Manon. Sleep well.
She is. We are better off for having her with us than against us.
I understand. Sleep well. I can clearly tell, like, throughout this whole process, you can tell when someone's, like, in a corner being like, oh, this is gross, I don't want to touch it. And then clearly the conversation then turns to them talking about me. And then it ends with Pontalius doing the clearly, like,
Yes.
So,
Bye.
yeah. So through this whole process, I'm just gonna stand there and be like, oh, I do not like this fake ass elephant.
A basic ass elephant.
He is prissy. Like, there's a difference between being raised with an expectation of quality, because Menel is clearly raised with an expectation of quality.
Yeah.
But she was also raised to deal with what she's been given, because that's part of the doing the job. When you are out on the job, you deal with what you have. And this is what we were given. If we couldn't have gotten the room, we would have slept in the alley. And this is better than the alley.
We have a whole goblin flop house now.
Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Grazek is
Optimist.
an optimist. He is
Rick, you
fully
were
on
muted just now. You just said something, but you're muted.
Optimism is one way of explaining it.
Right. And I also wanted to make sure that to instill the fear of you in the Loxodon. That was the whole purpose of that.
So until sleep arrives, it's like, so Lassiter and or at least on Pontalius's side, Pontalius is basically drilling you for information about the rest of your team. It's like whispers, and like it's totally like high school slumber party whispers. Like, he doesn't want to wake anybody else up, but it's so you're with a kobold. How is that? You know, like I've never been around one before.
What's that like?
They're magical. What's that like? Yeah, like it is absolutely it's hushed whispers. You know, someone else at some point, I'm sure Grazek probably is like, shut up and go to bed. You know, like the angry older brother that's in the room next door. Typhon doesn't sleep, so I don't know what are you up to when everyone else is taking their rest?
I'm going to stand by the door.
Okay.
Because there's no windows, right?
No, this is a storage room.
All right, so I'm going to stand by the door. I'm on fucking spider watch.
Oh, ooh, all right. So because you fell asleep, you guys technically fell asleep only like mid-morning lunch-ish. You will hear a lot of, like Typhon, you hear a lot of activity out in the hallway, a lot of people walking back and forth. At one point, someone tries to open the door, and the padlock that's on the hinge stops them from doing so. Dum, 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 dum. And you can hear on the other side of the door, clear as a bell, oh, hell, not again. Damn goblins. You know, you know, every damn week. You know, like they're grumbling, but not like pushing the issue. And then you hear, like, it's obviously maybe not abnormal for this door to be jammed shut during the day sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah, you guys easily get your long rest in. You have no trouble with all of the happy sleeps. Which put you about mid evening when you guys decide to get up and start rubbing your eyes and moving around.
So in the beginning there, you mentioned that the Loxodon was whispering. That was to Manon, right?
No, it was Lassiter.
Okay, so I just want to put this in your head for him to know that Grazek is a cannibal and will eat us if we turn against him, just so you know. The Warforged is literally always plotting to murder all of us at any given time because he finds us to be illogical flesh bags. Okay?
I mean,
the kobold...
half right.
I go, and the kobold is literally a demigod that has been trapped inside a kobold's body from the goddess Tiamat, and trying to find his way out so that he can consume the galaxy or the world.
I require a deception roll.
An epic deception roll.
Well, that's great because I have actor feet.
Versus Pontalius's insight.
Which is the worst.
I will say this straight away, that
Mhm.
even if he does beat you, he's going to just, instead of just basically going to be like, you're a liar, he's basically going to say that you're like one of those, oh, you're you're telling funny stories before you go to bed.
So just to give you a reminder, the actor feed gives you a +1 to charisma, and I have advantage on deception and performance checks when trying to pass off as a different person or mimic speech of another person or the sounds made by other creatures that I have heard for at least a minute. So I'm guessing it's also I'm a great storyteller.
Yes, but you will not have advantage on this.
You're the worst.
This will not help you because even if you did have advantage, I would probably levy it against you because you just tried to call Ixidor an avatar. That's
which is a terrible movie. So that's just awful.
All right, so
he hasn't seen Ixidor do all the things that Ixidor can do yet either, though.
No, that's totally true, but he's still just a kobold.
Well.
That seems specious.
No, I was saying no offense to all the kobolds out there, but.
All right, so I'm rolling deception. Is that right?
Yes.
Great. Oh, I'm actually going to. I can't take a picture of it. I rolled a 19 +1 for 20.
All right. He likes your stories, and he nods and listens and seems to take it all in. And whispers right before sleep overtakes his big elephant head. He whispers to you and says, "I'm glad I have someone here that can tell me how things really are."
And I go, "And I'm a prisoner. I'm their prisoner. And if we can escape at any given time, please help me."
Wish I spoke.
It goes so off the rails.
Oh.
Well, that is all to be determined as to whether or not Pontalius now thinks that Lassiter maybe just has
been touched.
A head injury?
Yeah, maybe right before bed he just sort of kind of offloads all these wonderful imagination thoughts. For me to be able to sleep, I've got to get all this out of my head. So here.
You have some downers.
So, I know tonight's session has moved kind of quick, and we had some weird technical issues and stuff. But I think that resting point is actually a pretty decent place for us to kind of pause, wake up fresh for the next session and whatnot. And for the people who are watching at home, if you have watched the other sessions, you know how this is about to go. If you haven't watched any before, what I do at the end of every session is I do kind of a round robin set of questions for my players to show me that they are not only engaged in the story, but it helps me as a DM understand what they like, what they enjoy, what they're paying attention to, that sort of thing. And this is in lieu of any kind of experience awards or anything like that. Even for my home games, I don't do experience points. I do these questions, and then after X number of sessions of answering all these questions, I say, "Ding, grats!" Everybody gets a level. Which this is not the case today. You guys just leveled. Yeah. So just because I said it, don't you start? Oh well, bad levels. All right. So let us start with our first question. We're gonna go ahead and start with Ixidor. What did in the case of this episode being an episode of a TV show, of a Spelljammer TV show, what did the audience learn about Ixidor today?
Not a lot. Maybe that he also really likes books.
I was actually going to point that out. If you stammered on it, I was going to say this is the first time that we've seen you revere books to the point of the weird draconic maddening book you were super into, but I always thought that was just a dragon thing.
I mean, Ixidor is a librarian.
Yeah,
it just happens to be that his area of expertise is dragons.
Well, and that really pointed out to me today. So
I love the image of a 2-foot tall librarian with big giant books, picking up books and being completely content and perfectly happy. Because I know that moving books around is like literally the thing that I am most happy about. If the books happen to be the size of me, just all the better.
Ixidor needs to learn Unseen Servant more than any other kobold ever.
I can't cast that. It's not a standard Warlock spell.
Typhon, what did the audience learn about the Typhon device?
I don't know. Today, I don't know. I was gonna say maybe that he has some more knowledge that's kind of like locked in his head that he hasn't like really thought about, like the fact that again, I rolled terrible and I didn't recognize her name, so I guess that's not the best example.
Honestly, the way I look at it is you made the skill check from a perspective of like the audience, or like if someone was watching a TV show, you would have that introspective moment where it would like the camera would pan in on you and you go, I think I remember those. And then it would be like a fuzzy moment, or you'd hear like the fax machine noise in your head or whatever. And then
it sounds like the AOL Connect noise.
Yeah, boop, boop, boop. And then you'd be like, nah, I guess it was nothing. So they would understand that you at least have that. It's buried in there somewhere. There's something in that weird metal hard drive of yours that is gonna, at some point you're gonna roll better than a 6.
Yeah,
you're gonna be able to be like, oh yeah, I know about the sausage spiders.
I know the shit out of that.
Yeah, I know the shit out of those sausage spiders. All right, Grazik, Pickle Baron. What did the audience learn about our friend, the carpet with a club?
I think I say it every time, but like Grazek is definitely a good hobgoblin, and I try and play like lazy and mean.
You're not a hobgoblin.
Bugbear.
Bugbear, Christ, man. Oh man, I get confused. Bugbear, anyway, it's not a hobgoblin.
Grazik is a great hobgoblin, although he's a bugbear.
Also a good bugbear.
Probably,
it's that when you read like little splurge for bugbears, that they're supposed to be lazy and mean and kind of cool and try to get other people to do work for them. But like Grazik's take on it is kind of like if everybody knows he's like the best and the most important, they'll just do it for him. So like kind of set the rules, make things going. When they were like, oh yeah, like he's like just like showing dominance. I was like, yep, that's what he does.
100%. What did the audience learn about Manon?
I don't know. This episode was kind of like a filler beach episode. But I think what little things they learned was like when she's focused on accomplishing something, sometimes she forgets to check the obvious. So like she was like, I need to rent a room, and she didn't check, does this person have the authority to rent me a room?
Work here, guy. Do I have to? So all full disclosure, the Tavern Scalper is something I've used in several other games before. You are not the first people to fall for it. And honestly, you won't be the last. It is one of my favorite things is you shut down a tavern and you have a guy standing out in front and basically being like, I know it's expensive, but hey, I've got 2 rooms left. Here you go. Oh, hey, the locks on your doors don't work. Use these instead. I want you to be safe. I want you to be secure all night long. And then, awesome. Peace out. See you. We'll have breakfast for you in the morning.
It also like it super makes sense because Manon is young and new to working in her family business, so like she doesn't know how much a room costs, and so she was like, yeah, 2 gold a room, that totally makes sense. So like she didn't know it was expensive, and so she was just like, yeah, this is totally normal, and then it wasn't.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Rick Lassiter, what did God, this was a heavy Lassiter episode. I
apologize to everybody for that.
No, okay. Every once in a while, there will be an episode that someone shines like a pickle baron, and that's today was Lassiter Day.
So I think everybody learned a little bit too much about Lassiter today. But the thing I think, and I hope that people are seeing too, is that even though I'm a rogue, I don't play rogue. I'm a treasure hunter. I want to, you know, barrel in sometimes. I sometimes get in front of some stuff. Like one of my my bond, I think, is information. And if I hear about it or see it, I want to involve myself in information getting, because it could lead to some treasure that we've never heard of before. So
Fantastic.
That was with the coin issue. I was like, well, that could be information that we could use.
Or as Jake put it, you know, the subplot that we're missing.
Yeah.
My turn, Clyde.
I saw the big yellow exclamation point, and I just was like, I'm gonna go back in my box.
I haven't played WoW Classic this past week and a half, so yeah.
Awesome. Ixodor, what did Ixodor learn today?
Ixodor learned that so we've begun to believe that there is something bigger going on than what we've seen, but now it actually looks like we saw some pieces behind that. The sausage on a spider monster, the fact that the Loxodon is like completely like, I don't even know this guy, is very it's all very telling.
We had a couple of drinks. We're not at hugging level. What did Typhon learn?
Typhon is learning that like what is supposed to be a pretty straightforward objective, because he's task based, right? So he like, it's like, hey, we need to get from point A to point B. Okay, cool, let's do that. And then he tries to think of the most logical way to do that. When like we had to get out of the tunnel and there was all the water, it was like, oh well, let's just go there. And then it was like, oh right, you guys can't breathe underwater. Well, you know, I'll take this rope and this light so you can it'll make it easier. And then it's like, where should we go now? Okay, we need to go back to the surface. Do we go to the bar or the house? Well, let's just get back to the surface first and then figure out what's next. So he's very like, you know, he wants to make a task and then complete that task and then complete the task. And he's learning that because of all the other things we have going on, that is becoming less and less likely to a nice streamlined linear path where it's like, oh, well, we'll get this guy, check. We'll get a ship, check. We have to go to this place, check. Why can't we get to the third check? Like we're like, so that's probably where he's at.
All right. What did Grazik learn?
Well, it's funny to piggyback off that, because I wasn't really thinking of it. I think Grazik operates the exact opposite way. He's like, ooh, shiny, new. Let's go do that instead. Yeah, there's a wrecked ship over there. Yeah, we're going there now. We already got the guy. Like, who cares if that guy ever sees him again? He doesn't even know him. Told us so. I think that's a big one. I think he'd be excited that his, like, not scheming. I don't think he's, like, generally overly, like, scheming, but that his investments have paid off. You know, I think recruiting kind of allies is kind of his thing, because, you know, the more people that think he's the biggest and the best, the better.
I've mentioned in previous episodes that you guys, there are instances where you didn't murder Hobo, which is awesome, because it has created unexpected NPCs for me to call back on. And the Pickle Goblins are definitely, I had, when they were originally introduced, they were almost just comic relief. They were to kind of show you that the constables are kind of dickish, and that they were, you know, funny pickle goblins, and it's turned into a much bigger thing.
Now there's the whole, like, you know, Grazek's Pickle College Online, which is doing really well, and
it's doing real well. What did Madden learn?
I mean, she, similar to Ixodor, she learned, obviously, Pontalius did not know Hastrix at all. So that was an interesting subplot, because I wanted to see, like, when they interacted, was it going to be kind of a like, aha, gotcha kind of moment? Was it going to be like an evil supervillain reveal? I was not expecting it to be a kind of mind control reveal.
All right.
So the introduction of the mind spiders was a fun and deep complication for Manon.
Awesome.
And the picture was so much grosser than I thought.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was when you walked away and you had turned off the recording was when they had me Google the images.
Some of
And
the other ones.
Yeah, and so I didn't even realize I was making the face I was.
It was priceless. She was like, it was great. It was a great reaction.
Yeah, they're nasty little creatures. They're super gross, and I love them. I've loved them since the late '80s.
Oh god, I use them as the villains in like all of my Spelljammer humans. I was like, hey, so today's mission is kill those fucking things because they're gross.
What did Lassiter learn today?
Lassiter needs to turn his
microphone.
Lassiter needs to turn his microphone on. Lassiter learned that there's a lot more going on in this little rock that we're on than we need to be involved in, even though I tried to involve myself in everything, and I apologize again for that. But we need to, I'm starting to really agree with Typhon and Manon and Ixodor, and it's hard for me to agree with Grazik on a lot of things, but it's okay. But we need to get the heck off this rock.
You gotta get out.
Because it's either going to be two things. Either those little spider sausages are going to totally make this
big ones
to be, or the Pickle Baron Goblin organization is going to become like, this is going to be the hub for all pickles in the known verse. And
we're pulling out the liquor.
Remember, you're in Kryn space, so this is like going to be the Dragonlance corner of Pickle Market.
Right, and Grazik is going to become super wealthy, and it's going to go to his head, and then we're going to have to deal with that super villain.
Yeah, but he can franchise out. Like season 2 is us franchising into like Greyhawk and Forgotten Realms. And
Grazik is all about diversifying wealth. Again, giving you the tools to be your own boss.
Pickle Barony is going to turn into the Pickle Kingdom, which is going to turn into the Pickle Empire. Like it's
I would super watch the self-help video series of Grazik's Pickles Barony,
where he's like stuffed into a badge suit, like just like furs popping out on.
You can be your own boss, or I can be your boss. Either way, you work out. Pickles.
It almost sounds like a multi-level marketing scheme.
Yes, I was going to say, it's like, buy my 13 DVDs and you can find out how you can be your own boss.
Start with the pickles level the galaxy. Chris, what did Chris learn today? And in case you guys have forgotten, this is an absolutely open-ended thing. This is whether it's mechanic-based or plot-based or anything involving our gaming whatsoever.
I learned that Jake is trying to kill me.
Learn what?
I learned that Jake is trying to kill me.
Only with kindness, my friend. Only with kindness.
Kindness and comedy.
I'm a huge fan of the mechanics of comedy, and the best kind of joke for me is a joke that not everyone's going to get, but the people that get the joke will really enjoy the joke. And when that number of people is like 3 or 6,
that's like your that's your prime number,
where everything comes down to. So what I learned tonight.
That's like you.
The U.
Putting the U back in you. Y-O-U. There's a U in it.
Grazik wants you to succeed.
Put you in a position of leadership.
All right, Jake. What did you learn? God,
I think that I learned that the Grazik U thing really has legs. Like, I think that the Grazik Fighting Pickles are going to take the championship banner this year. They've got a really good tailback, and
Pickle Goblin is definitely a thing you're going to see in a 9th level product at some point.
Oh my god, for sure.
Awesome.
It's a for real thing.
Right.
Gotta name it either Ben or Brian. Or both.
Yeah.
Ben Bryan, the Fighting Pickle.
Brian the Pickle Goblin.
Pickle Goblin.
What did I learn, or what did I learn, or what Typhon learned?
No, this is you.
Okay. Dude, I think the more that I play in this game, the more I enjoy the fact that I think we have a really good dynamic, and I was psyched when we came up with this idea to start doing this months ago, and I was like, it was like, oh, who should we get? Who should we get to play? And it was like, you, me, and Rick had been talking, so I was like, okay, well, we'll play, and then who else should we get? I was like, dude, let's get, like, we got to get Chris, because like Chris and I hit it off at GAM and had a great time talking. I was like,
I'm about to say we literally only met a few months ago.
yeah, like literally, Chris and I have been friends since February,
March.
Awesome.
March. Okay, so like first or second week of March. But you know, I mean, he gets.
I've known Richard for a while.
Yeah. But I mean, but
everybody knows Rick.
Yeah, everybody knows Rick. Like, but it was fun putting this together, and then like, you know, reaching out and getting Culvert, and then, you know, I've known Culvert for years, and Brian's known her for a while, and Rick's met her before, and like getting Ben on board was easy because, like, you know, he's a good friend of mine and he's a coworker, and I was like, you know what, let's do some more shit where we can just fucking relax and do something that's not work. So I think the dynamic of this group is awesome.
This was a good thing. It has also helped me get through. I was actually recently discussing this with my wife, that this quarantine, the first couple of months of it didn't bother me because I work from home anyway, and you know, you see the same four walls all day, every day, no matter what. But this last month or so, I've been struggling. Like it's been pretty hard, like mentally, because of not being able to see my friends that live here in town, you know, not being able to get the playtesters together, you know, not my normal gaming groups have all but vanished. And so this really has helped me on a mental level, because getting together with people is awesome, and I love running D&D anyway, but like knowing that I'm introducing you guys to new stuff, and it is I don't want to get all sappy or anything, but it is definitely made the last month and a half or so really far more palatable of being stuck in my studio for 18 hours a day. So thank you.
I think it's great. I think it's great to see everybody too. I mean, like,
yeah.
And normally at this point, okay, so what, we're almost at the midpoint of July. So normally we would have seen each other at Origins.
At Origins, we'd be gearing up for Gen Con.
Yeah, we'd be gearing up for Gen Con. So I mean, we already would have seen each other at least 2 or 3 times by now.
Yeah.
So that's a little weird not having that. But you know, I mean, like I get to see Ben pretty regularly, and I talk to Rick, you know, pretty regularly. But I mean, getting to see you guys and hang out and do something fun is definitely a nice.
I've spent way less on booze this year. That's for sure.
I have not.
It's like, no, I haven't. All right, so but I digress. Ben, thank you, Jake, for your what you've learned. Ben, what have you learned today?
2 or 3 things. Thing one is that I realized that a lot of like Grazak was a character I never got to play. And the one time I was going to play this Minotaur who was involved in like pyramid schemes, acquisitions incorporated, so it all worked. But yeah, so like the voice in it and a lot of this stuff, like it's like a different tone on that, so that's fun. And like anytime like I get to be like an unreliable narrator between like PCs and NPCs, like when the goblin was like, "Oh, she touched the head," I'm like, "Yeah, well, like I'm her boss, like it's cool." And like if they're like, "Yo, what's up with these goblins?" I'm like, "Look, they're a little whacked, but like they're on my team. It's okay." So I like playing both sides on that. I think that's fun.
Cool. What about you, Clover?
Goodness. I just like seeing the world develop, because I was fully expecting like the first world to be like the introductory world that we're here for like one little adventure, and then you go off and do the rest of everything. Like we're here really short, and then the rest of the game happens, and it just keeps becoming more and more complicated, more stuff happening. I'm like, well, when are we going to leave and go be in space?
Honestly, the big thing right now is the lack of a ship.
Yeah.
You know, because I guarantee that if I would have left you with a vessel, that there would have been a very distinct possibility that last night you would have gotten Pontalius and been like, let's just get on the boat and go.
Yep. So.
Yeah. And he would have grumped at you because technically he still works for another captain. But
I mean, Krazik doesn't get that way.
I was going to say, depending on the level of influence from several members of this party, he may have acquiesced. What about you, Rick? What'd you learn? This is a big one always for my veterans, people who've been playing a long time.
Okay, so two things I've learned is that you seed hooks that I feel like may not necessarily want us to follow, but you seed them because you like to keep the world open, which it kind of leans into Clover's thoughts on, like, there's a lot more going on in this one spot than so I see you seed hooks, and I love that it doesn't keep it linear, because we can divert and do something else in your world, which is super fun.
I want you to sandbox if you want. That's always been something I've been big on, is that you aren't supposed to be in a tunnel. You know, you should have options, even if those options might just be 1 or 2 sessions of let's go deal with this thing. They should be there.
Yeah, and the other thing I learned, and I'm learning, is I really, much like you said, this has been a very much a mental health part of this whole quarantine thing. I was on the road for 7 hours today. I could have said, hey, I can't play tonight, play without me or something, and drove all the way into Virginia Beach. But I said I got a hotel room just so I could be here with you guys.
Well, and we love you for it.
What?
We love you for it.
Yeah, which just tells me that you guys are my family and very important to me. And so here we are. Yeah, I got to listen to people yell and fight out in the parking lot where we played. It was almost
are
like
you at the same? This happens every place you go. What is? Are you at the same place?
Man, it's like a plague here. But I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm like still like 2.5, 3 hours away from my house. So it must be just a thing with Red Roof.
It's just a Red Roof in. They attract domestic violence.
I mean, you guys didn't hear because I muted it. Someone was out here honking. I muted this. I got up and I walked outside and I yelled at him. That's when I walked away from the camera for a minute.
Oh, I assumed it was just a potty break.
Nope, I went and yelled at people honking their damn horn out in the parking lot at 10:30.
God. All right, so this last question, for viewers who haven't seen the questions before, this is what I call shining the spotlight. It's not really a question so much as it is every player has to take something that they were not directly involved with, and it's like they are in charge of shining the spotlight on something cool that happened during the session. The reason why I do this is because that way it shows me kind of what you guys really enjoy, so I can maybe try and harvest some of that for the future and make sure that it happens again. Chris, shine the spotlight.
I just went completely blank. What was it, Richard, that you said right at the beginning? some pickle. Fighting pickles! Right at the beginning of the end here.
New Armor Class 10 t-shirt.
Yeah, that's going on a shirt.
With no other context.
Richard, you made a joke.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris.
Right at the end?
Right at the beginning of our wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
Before,
Really funny.
Did it have to do like what I was telling the Loxodon about the rest of the party members?
Oh no, yeah, right. It was the last thing that you said there, which was, "I'm a prisoner."
Yeah. Chris, you almost broke Chris at that. I saw that.
I was like, oh no! Like all this other stuff was funny, but then you were like, "I'm a prisoner too. We'll escape." Like I was just like, oh no, this is exactly what I want. That's the kind of moment. I didn't see it coming. It was super funny, and it was great. It was great.
Classy. Jake, shine a spotlight.
Yeah, I might have to piggyback on Chris's thing. Like listening to, because at first I was like, where is he going with this? And I was like, because you had said, oh, it's all good. I made it so that he's kind of afraid of men. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like that makes sense. So, and then it was like, and then because again, he was like with the whole like, oh, is she a good witch or a bad witch? So I was like, okay, that's fine. He can be a little afraid of her. But then it was like, oh, also, Grazek's a cannibal, and he'll eat us all if we're out of line. And Typhon is a bloodthirsty robot who wants to destroy all of us. He wants to destroy all life. And Ixodor is a god that's trapped in a kobold body, but once he figures out, and Tiamat did it, and once he figures out a way to undo that, he's going to consume the galaxy. And then, to Chris's point, and also, I'm a prisoner. I was like, what?
Like you. I'm a prisoner with you. We're going to get out of this together.
You and me, buddy, we're on the same team.
All right, Ben, shine a spotlight.
I mean, I don't want to say it again, but like if you would ask Grazak, hey, what should we tell this guy to be scared? Something really outlandish. She's like, I eat people, definitely. That's probably so when Rick said that, it made me really happy. I was directly involved with it, but like at the start, like when we were even talking about like getting out of the water and everyone was talking about their plan, I was like, well, I take the backpack with Ixodor in it and we swim because that's what we do. You know,
I'm the best swimmer.
Yeah, but like Lassiter went to go do something felonious, and it was like, "Oh, Grazak, come on!" And I was like, "Yeah, because that's what we do." Those were. I mean, I like that kind of play. I like when we like get like come together, you know, work together. Yeah.
All right, Clover.
I had a thing at the very beginning of the session, and it was about Grazak, and I'm going to forget exactly what it was about now. But it was basically involving the fact that Grazak ad-libs the best responses to things. Like, someone will say something, and Grazak will just be like, well, yeah, because shoes are blue. And it'll just be the most outlandish response, and he'll deadpan it perfectly. And it's just, and nobody comments on it. We're all just like, oh, okay then, yep, that's what we're going with now. And it's always my favorite moment in a conversation. And especially when his little minions come back, it's like, he describes it as he's lazy and he wants to delegate to other people, but to me it's like he's the football coach who turned into like the CEO. He's the really charismatic boss who's like, hey buddy, this is awesome. Here, do you mind doing this for me? And everybody just does stuff because it's like, oh my god, he saw me.
All right, we've got our last spotlight before I shine one. That's the only thing that I actually do with the questions is I shine a spotlight. So what we got there, Rick, aside from unmuting your microphone?
Did it again.
So I would like to spotlight a couple things. When we kicked in the door and the bookshelves and stuff, and how Ixodor went directly to the books and started reshelving or restacking, I was like, is he also looking at what these books are? Maybe there's some lore there. That would be cool. But no, he was just like, these are not how books are meant to be treated. That isn't a book.
That was a great image.
And I hate to say this, but the thing that happened off camera, technically off camera because it wasn't part of the recording session, was when Clover saw what a Neo guy looks like. I wish we could screenshot that and then make that a show. It could be like, it could just say WTF would be perfect. Again, everything that has to do with Grazak and his pickle barony is literally gold to me. It is so
it really is. Yeah. It really is.
And Typhon, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't really get anything that was like super shiny from you, except for that you were totally threatening to kill all of us every 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's where the hardest thing about playing this character for me is like, in order to make Typhon real to how I've created him, he's deadpan. He doesn't react to stuff. He's not really concerned about small talk or social interaction. So it's like he's objective based, which is and I like making lists myself. I have a little bit of type A, but he is completely not my personality at all. But he's a cool character, so I was like, okay, I'll try him out. It'll be different.
I think what we should do for your character, which would be super fun, is if we could get a soundboard for you. So like Like when you're thinking, it goes
Kind of cool.
or whatever kind of soundboard we could get for your character through all these processes that he has.
I'll have to do that. I'll look
So
around.
good.
It needs to be that sound like when a computer boots up that.
You're right.
All right, I'll look around for a soundboard for next week. I'll see if I can find a good one.
That'd be hilarious.
And then so for me, my spotlight is going to be it's shined on Menon during the leaving Hastrix place when Pontalius decided to finally take a stand against Grazik calling him a dum-dum and just being an insufferable just furry carpet with a club. And you're like, and Manon looks at him and he's like, are you choosing now to do this? Like, we're leaving. Now is when you decide to grow a backbone. And it's Pontalius's, fine, I'll make my stand again later when we're not being rushed. When it's more fashionable, I'll make my stand. I loved your response to that, and it really was. I could see this kind of weird Alice in Wonderland warlock lady looking at this giant toddler of an elephant and being like, now. Okay, fine. That made me giggle. I like that. And then as a secondary, smaller spotlight, everyone's reaction, whether you knew what it was or not, to the spider scurrying to the nail geese scurrying across the living room and into the kitchen and like trying to get out, just watching everyone's faces in various states of either understanding or abject horror of oh no, oh man, oh, and then later on someone going, do you think that maybe it was like mind controlling him? Like is it a spell or something? I love that kind of sort of natural detective work, and the concept where someone goes, it's not a spell. Did it bite him? Look for bite marks. What's going on? I dig that. That was a very cool kind of collective scene. All right, so
Brian, I had one other little thing. I wanted to thank Ben. I don't know if anybody else noticed it. So Grazik has been sticking up for Typhon not being an object.
Yes.
Which I really got. I was like, I'll try to do that. Without fail.
Yeah.
It's that little thing that I love.
Yep.
Aww.
He's a person.
And then every time he gets called like not an object but like a thing, he'll go like closer.
You're
Come
good.
on,
all right, so that wraps up the session. We're gonna go ahead and go around the table, the digital table. Tell people where they can find you, to shower you with accolades and tell you how cool you were in this. And then we'll wrap up the session and hopefully schedule up for the next one. But Rick, why don't we go ahead and start with you today, since you're on my top left that no one else knows about.
All right. So I am Rick. You can find me on social media at Rick Rolls America on almost every platform except for Twitter. I think on Twitter I'm Geektography. Again, I mentioned it at the beginning. I'll mention it here at the end. During Gen Con Online, if you follow any of the Ultra Pro content for that weekend, I am running all of the content providing Ultra Pro coverage. So all the unboxings, all the playthroughs, interviews with creators, Justin Gary, Elisa Teague, and some others. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. So make sure you jump on Gen Con Online because I think Chris also has stuff going on. So yeah. So that's where you can find it and all the fun stuff.
Speaking of Chris, let's go ahead and have you go next.
Hi everybody, Chris. You can find us at knifelevel.com. Our newest venture is hosted online RPGs, where we have professional GMs running games, and you can buy tickets and you can play them, kind of filling in a spot for the fact that we're not at conventions, but we are running games for Gen Con Online. We're also running special for free versions of our hosted online role-playing games for Free RPG Day, which is the July the 27th.
25th. It's July 25th.
July 25th. With a bunch of games that are part of the Level 1 anthology of free RPG games that we put together, 9th level put together for Free RPG Day. So, keep looking out for that. And you can always hit me up. Myself personally, I am at All Hail King Torg, and you can find us everywhere else at 9th level. At 9th level or at 9th level games.
Clover, tell them what's up.
I am Clover. You can find me on Instagram as Clover B Cosplay, which I admittedly have not updated in a very long time.
You've been busy trying to save the human race.
I am more active on Twitter as at Clover B with 3 E's. I also have a link to my newly activated Ko-fi on there, where I do little Japanese Kokeshi inspired chibis of people's custom D&D characters, so they can use them for like Roll20 and Discord avatars and stuff like that.
You should do our party.
I'll pay you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Do that tonight.
Benjamin.
Alpha Mega Hobby on Facebook. Alpha Mega Hobby Community on Facebook. I spend probably about 70% of my day liking posts, making videos, put them on there. Don't do anything with YouTube yet. Just takes longer to upload. At Bearclaw, L is a 1 on Instagram. If you want to see pictures of my dog, minis and painting, or watch me make cocktails on Friday nights. So
It's good content, like legitimately. You have fun stuff. So, and Jake.
So you can email Ben or I at alphamega.com. It's basically just Jake at alphamega.com or Ben at alphamega.com. If there's anything we can get for you guys in the coming weeks, like, if you have a friendly local gaming store, obviously shop there, shop local, keep the money in your community. But if you can't find something, or if there's something you need and there's no one who can get it for you, yeah, we got that coming out in the next in 2 weeks time. So we get all that stuff up on the website, and I know that people have been kind of aggravated about that whole launch, but I mean, there's a lot of local stores that actually got theirs. We had a handful left over that weren't spoken for. Trying to get my hands on some more so we can try to take care of some more folks. But
yeah, if we don't know somebody, or if we don't have them, we might know somebody that does.
Yeah, that's true.
There you
go. Yeah, if there's anything we do to help you out, feel free to reach out. But that's about it.
All right, and then you guys all know me. I'm at Brian CP Steele on everything but TikTok, which is my @theprofessionalnerd. And then my regular channel is the Tales from a Professional Nerd, which you guys see every week on Fridays. It's been awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed the session. I know it was a weird one with some technical difficulties and stuff, but the next one promises to be interesting. Let's leave it at that.
I thought he was going to say bloody, so I'm actually I'm much happier with interesting.
I don't think this is the last that we've seen of the sausage spiders.
I mean, that seems real.
The 7-legged sausage spider.
Yes, a 7-legged sausage spider out there is going to start getting character levels. So
I'm assuming he's going back to wherever he cams from, and he'll just get that all sorted out.
All right, you guys take it easy, and we'll see you next time.